Gamers, we are here in the finals. It's overpowered. It's FTM. It's Soul Eve with the backing like a backpack. Guys, it's time for the T-On Invitational Finals. Honolulu versus Bad Timing. It's me. I'm here always with you every day, every time, every cast. Ego, but never alone. These guys keeping me alive throughout it. In fact, thriving. It's going to be Cordy. It's got to be JellyKnees. Please let the people know who you are one last time in case they haven't. It's time for a finals match.
What's up, guys? Cordy, stream 4 days a week, put a lot of YouTube content, and of course, again, we have that podcast coming up. Super excited about.
Oh yeah, man, Jelly. For the people who don't, but probably should know, can you let them know, please, who are you?
What's up, guys? I'm JellyKnees. I am a content creator for Paragon the Overprime. I am a host of the show For the Minions, which has been on for 5 or 6 years at this point. And I am very excited to get into these finals games with both of these teams. They've done a great job so far in the tournament, and I can't wait to see what they do now.
Dude, it's been such a fun ride. It's been such a fun ride, guys. Up to this point, we've got 6 sets, double that at the minimum, and the amount of games, the preparation time, the amount of hours we took getting these teams together, contact everybody, setting it up to where we could put on a show for this community that deserves it so much. Paragon, the Overprime, deserves a comp scene, and gamers like you, casters like you, players like these, make it happen every single time. Thank you guys so much for coming out. And if you have not already, please guys show these guys some love on their socials. It's going to be ! Cordy, ! Jelly, as well as ! FTM gamers. The last trivia question's coming up for those of you asking. However, my question is going to be right now. Who do you got? The polls are up. How else get it in? NA versus EU. Cordy, I'm putting you on the spot.
How could you do this?
Oh,
how could you put me on the spot like
the
this?
lights on? The lights on.
It's so tough, man. BTB, you know, they're coming back with a vengeance, right? They got knocked out by Honolulu on Nico Tourney round 1, so they couldn't even play. You know, they got knocked out early. I think it might have been like the first game, honestly. But they're coming back with a vengeance. They have time to warm up. They played a couple of sets, a couple of games, so they have time to warm up. Honolulu's been there waiting patiently. They have their pen and paper out. They're taking notes. They're looking at what the picks and bans are going to be for them. So it's really hard to choose. But I'm going with consistency. I'm going to go with Honolulu.
Oh, baby.
3-2. We're going all 5.
Full 5 games.
Full 5. Full 5? Okay. Jelly, I got to put it on you, man.
Oh, dude, this is hard. Both BT and Honolulu have shown their prowess in this game, that they take control. When they get a lead, they just keep their foot on the gas and keep pushing it on forward. Both teams are super solid. We've seen a lot of good plays coming out of all the players on both of them, but I think I'm going to give this one over to BT just by 51% confidence. Like, it just is that close to me, but I think I'm going to put BT in the spotlight.
All right. Ah, God, you guys are really gonna make me tiebreak? That's so cruel. Why could you both say Honolulu? Man, all right, guys, I'm gonna say we win because winning wasn't the teams; it was the friends. Okay. If I have to pick, God, man, it's so hard. It's so hard because these teams are both so good, and we're gonna be looking to get into this very, very quickly. But my take, as we get into it, I have to go. I'm going with Bad Timing.
Ooh, revenge.
I'm going with Bad Timing because I'm putting this person on the spot. I'm specifically putting this person on the spot in the limelight here. Conte, I believe currently is the best player in the world. That is my take. I do believe that Conte is the best player where he's a part of this 3-headed giant of Honolulu, and they have been absolutely massive, and we've seen it within the tournament. However, I was told by Proficiency, an OG, a veteran player, he came to me, he said, Ego, I don't lose tournaments. And the confidence and the vengeance that BT has been playing with, I'm looking to see that be sustained here. I'm not voting for any one team. My vote is for a good set. But if I have to put which one I think might take it, I'm going to put it on BT at the moment. However, Honolulu, oh, they're going to give them a hell of a game. And I hope the fans are ready. Are you guys ready? FTM, Paragon the Overprime, Soul Leave, Cordy, Jelly, Overpowered. Are you guys ready? And I ask you one last time, who do you got as we are about to make our way into the finals? Guys, I'm shaking, mate. I'm absolutely shaking, and I can feel the crowd getting ready. They're getting hype right there along with us. Cordy, we're ready. The fans are ready. Jelly's ready. Are the players ready?
They are ready. They are ready to go, man. Honolulu's been waiting. They've been ready.
Ooh, baby. Well, hey, let's get right into it. Gamers, a best of 5 set here on Overpowered. Let's give the players what they want, man. And let's give these viewers everything they deserve. Picks and bans, game 1 of possibly 5. What are we going to be seeing out of these teams here, man? And we're seeing Murdoch mid taking the knee, the Necron yet again? Or are we going to see it switched up?
Yeah, there's so many options here, man. There's so many things that we saw differently, and there's only one band per team, so it's gonna be really interesting to see. There's so many bands that are targetable. There's so many bands that are really good. Like characters, it's really tough to predict what these bands are gonna be.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we could definitely see a Murdoch ban. That way, there's no worry about Blub getting it, and there's no worry about Vecron getting it. They have to play kind of a more traditional mid laner support and force them into that. But I mean, we could see that Adele start to get that ban so they don't have to deal with it. These are two teams that we've seen play the character well. We know that they can do it, so that may be an option here too.
Dude, I honestly I don't think we can let Kwang defend. The skill ceiling is
That's
too high. The skill ceiling is too high on both of these teams. Crazy can't be allowed to have it, and you definitely cannot allow Honolulu to have it. However, we are going to see a first ban rate. This is specifically a targeted ban, as we know that Jay an orchestrator on it, dude. He's getting the team fight to play to his tune. It is a character that we've seen fail in some situations, however, thrive so heavily in others. And then the Sev ban, the first pick, now to be picked up here. What is it that they want? What is their winning formula?
We haven't seen Conti pick Sevrog, so interesting they banned the Sevrog. But definitely his most played character and comfortable character. And Rev, overall, first pick in the finals by Honolulu.
First pick in the finals.
Dominate on Revenant, so it's not a terrible surprise to see that first pick come through. They did this earlier today in their semifinal match, so it's not a big surprise. We're seeing the steal come back through and Moragesh rerun for Blub in the mid lane
in the finals.
What pick comes out as for Honolulu?
A Mortgage pick into the finals as well as the steal. Someone we've seen be an insanely good engager for this team, but also a very confident and comfortable pick here for Cranky. We have seen them ban it out on not only the bad timing side, but also on Honolulu side in previous tournaments. So we know that this character is going to bring a lot, not only the team fight, but a lot into the laning phase as well with a bit of sustain. And now Kwang picked up with the pick there. A Muriel, though, absolutely huge. At this point, I'm probably looking over in the general direction of Kwang. We've seen how incredibly potent Kwang plus Muriel can be on this Honolulu team.
Yeah, they went the Grux here, so more than likely going to be a Grux, like Conti on the Grux. I've never seen him play the Grux in the jungle. Maybe they take it to the solo lane and he picks something different here. Adele, Kwang still available. Kwang's really good at locking down Mortgage, right? There's issues with Mortgage getting away movement speed. Kwang does a really good job as keeping her rooted and then knocking her up in place.
Wait, where are we? Vecron support Murdoch probably. Moragesh going to Blub in the mid lane, and then Sparrow on carry. Yep, absolutely. That's what we're gonna see here. I mean, Adele and Kwang are still both available for Honolulu on this side. If they do decide to do kind of a safe lane with Grux and Steel in the off lane, they could definitely still pick Kwang in the jungle for Conte, or an Adele if they wanted another tank, and then they still need their mid laner as well.
100%. And Gideon, a big pick here. Someone that we've seen favored a lot throughout this tournament, not only for his setup, for his damage that scales really well into the late game, but also safety has to be key against proficiency. You have to keep it in mind that, hey, we know we're going to be getting ganked heavy. And I will say, overall, from what we've seen in this draft so far, I am very much so favoring the draft in Honolulu's favor, as there's so much good setup, but also sustain and safety. The team fight with the combination of both Muriel for the sustain, as well as that field control and damage that Grux is going to be able to provide, and even the Gideon ult and Aurora ult. Both can be so massive on the back end, and a Fang Mao lock-in on the last pick here for bad timing.
Oh man.
Jelly.
No Quag, no Adele. Like those Quag, he's been like, I don't have the stats, but I just know he's been winning all tournaments.
Jelly, before we leave into the casting booth for this game, the finals, me and Cordy making our way in, I gotta ask you, which draft do you like more?
Oof, I think BT is showing that they're pulling out their strengths right now. We've got Necron coming out with Murdoch in the support role. Blub, who dominated on Mortgage before. We've also got Regal back on the Sparrow. I think they showed that they're pulling out their strongest heroes. They've got Feng Mao and Steel to help support that. And I think BT is definitely leaning better in this draft.
Jelly, we'll see you on the other side, man. Ladies and gentlemen, overpowered FTM, it's about time for a final showdown. This is it. Honolulu versus bad timing. Cordy, I'm happy you could be here to do it with me, man.
I'm happy too. I'm not even playing and I'm nervous.
I am shaking. I am absolutely shaking. My leg is tapping the ground 40 strokes per second at the moment, man. However, we know both of these junglers can be absolutely fantastic for these teams. But one thing I would like to keep in mind is, as aggressive as both of them are, the tempo has to be set, not only by these junglers, but by their mid laners and the follow-up they're going to be able to provide here. And Morgus, we have yet to see her within the early phases of the game be as impactful as a pick like Gideon can be here. What's your think about not only the jungling, but the 2v2 that we're bound to see here in the mid lane?
Yeah, Jay playing on his more comfortable character on the Gideon, having really good poke. Whenever we have those rotations, Grux more CC on the side of that 2v2 fight. So they can lock her down, force the blink out of Mortgage, make it really tough for her to disengage whenever she is in a bad spot. We can see them rotating, and a lot of action I feel is going to be here in the mid lane.
Oh man, 100% here, especially since both of these junglers are going to be looking to just claim the tempo of this first game here. And I want to ask you, and kind of a little bit more of a broad stroke. Do you put up more importance on the first game or the second one, as we are going to see proficiency already at level 2 here, catching out this Gideon, utilizing a blink forward. It is now going to be a blink away, as proficiency is going to let the fight die down. Grux making the rotation here from Kante, as he is aware that there's going to be a pull from the other side. However, Kante caught from the back here, as it is going to be him coming from the ground pull.
Oh, God.
The centimeter of HP on Kante here, utilizing the blink out of the mid lane in order to secure not a kill, but a degree of safety from the dual gank that came from both sides there.
Yeah, Kante having blink there. I wasn't expecting him to have the blink, but he has blink and able to get out. But yeah, Gideon, Jay over there rotating to try to get that ward down, and as he was getting the ward down, Feng Mao was right there ready to go on him and force him to force a lot of pressure, force him to blink. Kante was just in a little bad spot, not sure where the Feng Mao went, and yeah, forcing his blink as well. So this early little engagement going in the favor of bad timing.
Yeah, man, and it hopefully will lead kind of to this tempo on both these teams that, hey, if you want to hop in this jungle, we can hop in this jungle, comrade. We can brawl out and start invading each other, comrade, as having a shown face there in the early is the first step in what I think is a game plan to stop the invades that we know that Honolulu is so well known for, because they are setting up to allow Kante to thrive in these positions. As such, we may see them kind of fall into a more methodical pick, and with this not being, and too much of an off pick on the jungle role here for Kante by comparison of the Adele that we've seen a couple more times. We also know if that they go to invade him, that he's going to be able to contest. My eye and my focus, though, is also so heavily on this Feng Mao pick. You have to establish a lead early, it feels like, on this character. We've seen time and time again, as the game scales, you just don't keep up as well as other junglers like Grux do. And as far as impact goes, he's made some on the mid lane already. That execute will always be good in a lot of situations, especially into these tankier, innately tankier picks, I'll say, such as Aurora and Grux.
And that's what I wanted to bring into the like. Bang Mao is really good at countering shield. He's the only person that can counter shield. Protection, Muriel shields, and he's actually invading. I think he got the buffs.
He
wasn't
did.
getting the buffs.
He did. And a pickup there. It is going to be a dragon here coming from Conte, as he is now going to be looking to get out. There will be no knock-up coming there from Steel. However, over to the mid lane, it is going to be a lot of pressure being established here by Blub on the Mortgage pick. A quick soul still on the market. A little bit of a confusion afterwards, as it is now going to be Grux making a rotation over onto the mid lane, as onto the side it is going to be Conte playing his space from the Dusk Pool. While we do see over into the far reaches, Feng Mao is actually going to be able to get an invade, but it has been Blub who has expended his get out already. And let me tell you, dude, if there are Paragons, they are watching the tournament, because it is going to be another Fire Spirit that is going to be spawning in 5 seconds, as Vectron as well as his are going to lose a large degree of pressure, because they are going to be forced to back by the combination of Sparrow only as well as Kiwi on this Muriel pick. While in the mid lane, we do have a fight looking like it is going to be breaking out. A drag in here coming from Conte is going to come up big, as Grux is going to be able to dash through in order to play the space. The use of protection will not guarantee the kill, and he survives it, as it is going to be Conte who's going to be able to rack up one. However, the first blood is instead going to go over to the Gideon on the pull off. It is going to be a protection here being procced, as well as a portal being created in order to create some degree of space, as it is going to be the 1-to-1 on the kill boards. Big kills coming up from either side of the team here, as proficiency is going to be utilized this time not to play, but instead try to build a minion lead from farming his jungle.
And that's just a little glimpse of what we're going to be seeing, right? Low health bars, but they have a Muriel. Muriel's going to keep them alive just that much longer in team fights. When it comes to these supports, we have the annoying range poke from the Necron, but when it comes to mid to late game in these team fights, I'd much rather have shield and Muriel stuns than anything than a Murdoch using mortars.
100%, man. And you know, one facet of that is, what are you gonna do? Murdoch me? Well, I have shielding. You're not as much as touching the HP bar, contrary to what we've seen in previous games here, as we are going to see these guys showing a little bit of face. BT Blub here, hit with the pull-in, and no blink is available, as well as no protections, considering we saw that get procced earlier. However, it is not going to be a kill, and a blown kiss goodbye is going to be Blub, as we do see over into the far lane. This time, it is now going to be the combination of Muriel and Sparrow only who are going to be pushed back, while Steel and the solo lane is looking for an engage. But I mean, tanks are going to do tank things, right? They're going to fight, but not much blood is going to be shed here. Cordy, pivoting over to you, man. What do you think about the karma loadout these teams have brought out this game?
Yeah, kind of the standard that we've been seeing a lot of is a lot of protections, blinks, of course. I'm really surprised about the blinks in the jungle on the Grux, but it does make sense, right? You blink in, get a really good AoE ult, you wind up your pull, blink in to throw somebody off guard, so I do understand that. And we have the silence from both of the solo tanks, the solo laners, so pretty standard builds that we're seeing out of this. No pain, by the way, just because protection's so good.
So good, especially into pain. So, oh, you paid me. I won't take that damage. I don't think I will. However, at this agreement, we are going to see some word coverage here over into this duo lane, as the opposing side has left, and it has now given the ward coverage supremacy in favor of Honolulu and the content crew, or the red team, for those not as familiar with these names. HNL, a lot of vision on this lane, are now going to be able to start this Fire Spirit after pushing up the wave, and it is going to start going down expeditiously, now breaking that 4K threshold. Sub 3, there's no face yet to be shown, and we do know over onto the far lane, it is going to actually be Feng Mao who's going to be taking the Guardling. Steel does pull up, however, he is going to very quickly pull out, as that Fire Spirit is going to be dropped to that 1500 threshold. Pulled over to the side, and it does look like it is going to reset, as it is going to be a kill that's going to be picked up here on the Vectron by Sparrow only, as now with the numbers advantage, they're going to be able to pick it up definitively. A teleport up is going to be an ult here from Conte. He's going to be able to get the drag in, as he's going to be looking to get out. This looks like it is going to be a 2-for-0 trade, as it's going to be Mortgage's HP was going to be depleted. No amount of mitigation or sustain is going to be able to out sustain that much damage. And that level of confidence comes up huge, as in the backline is going to be Steel, who does drop his ult, and now forced to drop his shield as he finds himself all alone. No place to call home, but a knockup is going to come in his way to try to assist. But you have to consider that he is all but dead. Oh my god, as it is going to be the Fire Spirit likely to follow suit. But we do see Feng Mao is in the wings and likely to make an attempt on this. However, it is going to instead go in favor of the content crew in Honolulu here at sub 10 minutes.
Wow, just great knowledge, great map knowledge from their Honolulu. They haven't seen Fang. They have lots of wards. They had warded everywhere on Fire Spirits, a Christmas tree over there. They had no knowledge of where the Feng Mao was. They didn't see Feng Mao, which gives them the knowledge. We don't. He's probably on the right side of the map. We don't have any wards there. He's probably doing the underling. So they immediately made that rotation to Spirit, get set up. Aurora, Fenrir rotating around, getting a blank ult to the backline onto, I say backline, but onto Sparrow and the Necron. Getting to the backline, they dropped Spirit, went over there, got some kills, popped some blinks, rotated back to the Spirit, able to catch Blood out of position, didn't have blink at the time, so caught him out of position with a blink ult by Conti, forcing the backliners to just be dead or out of the fight, and then went back onto the objective. Just really great map knowledge from Honolulu there.
Yeah, 100%. Just awareness of where they're going to be or where they're likely to be, and taking risk according to that. As we do see, an Invade is going to be coming here out of Feng Mao, looking to build some degree of a lead as the Fire Spirit does get dropped. He's going to show some aggression over into the lane, popping that spell shield. It is going to be procced and eat some degree of damage here from the Grux, as they're going to continue clearing out that side of the jungle. Now Gideon in that mid lane looking to possibly make a rotation, while Sparrow over into the far lane is going to get a pretty positive damage trade on to Kiwi here. However, one thing to note that we haven't seen yet in this game is Jay on this Gideon is known in the biggest moments to come up huge with the ult. Now it's going to be the Gartling, though, that is going to be dropped mid, looking to pick up what we like to call some of the gold on the map, or at least threaten it within this instance, as they're going to get a surplus of damage down on that mid tower.
Save it. They would get some damage down, but they were actually able to save it. And yeah, going over talking about Jay on the Gideon. Gideon is not known for his early damage. You know, his ult doesn't. It's more of a tickles early game.
That was nice. Yeah.
It's a nice little back rub whenever Gideon tries to ult you. But the thing about Gideon is he's really safe. He has great range poke. And then when it comes to late game, the team fights that he provides, he can get up in the air, get out of range, and ult to keep people locked in, either force blinks, or able to just stay there in that team fight, and allowing a team to have easy AoE abilities on stationary targets pretty much. So late game, mid to late game, Gideon starts to come online, but yeah, early on, he's just that safe character.
Yeah, man, and it does become a question of scaling on the Gideon side, but also scaling on this Morgan side. Is it going to end up being a matter of, hey, we very much so value the damage, as we are going to see Blub being forced to utilize his blink there, and that is a small part of technology I've seen Honolulu utilize better than any other team. Jungler, you don't need to flash engage. There it is yet again, because you can take my teleport.
Yep.
It's
great play
so
by
good.
Those guys.
It's so good, and such just a useful way of being able to show face in a spot without having to lose some of the pressure you have from your own karmas, knowing that Brux's karma here in context is going to be down for another 20 seconds, but more than likely will be up here for the next team fight, as we are going to see both teams kind of relegating themselves to some time to just farm up, while the objectives are technically tied, with one Guardian having gone in favor here of bad timing, but one Spirit, the Fire Spirit especially, going in favor of the team in Honolulu. And as the game begins to kind of scale out, we talked about how impactful this Muriel is going to be on the impact, but do you think, per se, possibly, because this is what we saw last game, despite the other team having some really solid sustain, do you think the combination of Morgesh as well as 2 carries damage can almost outrace the damage that is going to be dropped, or the mitigations that are going to be offered here by the Muriel?
If it's actually really quick before little rotation in mid. If we keep it at the same pace that we are, and the tanks are able to make the rotation, it's a lot easier to get those tank items online sooner, get those defense, those health stats before they start getting pinned online on the backliners. So if it is, and then you're pairing it with a Muriel as well, so the damage early game not really going to compare to the tanks and Muriel shields that happen and actually right now in mid.
Yeah, buddy, it is going to be
Action.
a little bit of a skirmish here, but can you feel this tension, Cordy?
A lot. It's insane.
Every single engage, every single team fight, these teams have never breathed more shallow breaths. As we are going to see, actually, Aurora here is going to be taking yellow over. That means that if the other side is going to be looking to make a rotation, it is going to be late as the spirit is up. We do see Aurora here making a rotation from the top of the wings. Ward coverage will reveal her. You do have to assume that now Steel taking the purple over. It's also going to be looking for a fight, as it is going to be the tower that does fall in favor of bad timing, offering them some degree of gold in the mid lane. It's going to be this combination of Gideon as well as Grux, who are going to be grouping together. Wow, it looks like the fire spirit is going to be committed upon first here by bad timing, dropped below that 4,000 threshold and very much so on its way to 3 here. The space is going to be played and it is going to be backed off of here by the opposing team as a smite will secure it and even up these objectives, actually even up the spirits 1-1, but offering an objective lead now to bad timing with their Gartling take from earlier.
Sparrow only having to back there and get some items, get some recover on some health and mana, not having their main source of damage, their damage carry early game, and just great positioning by bad timing to get in there, knowing that they don't have their full team, able to get some wards out, and starting that objective, getting position. Great play, I like that, giving it up. They just a little bit of lacking actually with the rotation here in mid.
And a silence as well as the follow-up. Oh, here it is going to be Conte looking to perform a magic trick, but he runs into the recovery, which is going to save his life within that instance from being stacked. However, it's not quite over yet, as the team is now going to be making a rotation here onto the Garling, looking to seize and maintain the objective lead that they may have within this instance, but it is not going to be as free as some of the other ones has been. It is going to be Feng Mao who is going to have to play the space, but I just came to a realization. Cordy, I saw the bubble pop as Gideon is going to be ulting over the top here. A big one that is going to catch at least one. Now the Steel being caught out on his space. It is now going to be an engage as well as a Frostquake here coming out of the Aurora, which is going to hit some and it's going to relegate itself to Revenant. Now being able to pick up a kill onto Regal. Still looking to run through. Vecron is looking to create the space, but it is going to be a double for the Cowboy. The Mercenary is going to get 3 and shielded, barely haven't taken any damage. That health might as well be full as they did get the objective, but what was given, what was lost? And the answer is 3 members of their team as Honolulu is coming up big on the aggression.
And while that's happening, while they're getting those, Conte is just cleaning up the entire blue side of the jungle, the entire blue buff, putting Feng Mao further behind on the putting him behind, trying to put him behind because he actually is ahead. But Feng Mao not gonna be having any jungle to clear. But that's one person you don't want to see get some kills, right? Is that Revenant, man?
Yeah, oh my.
Revenant late game is just, he hurts so much on that last bullet shot. I think it's 110% scaling if I remember correctly. So much damage.
I have a question for you here. I have a question because I just, as that team frame broke out, I had an epiphany. My third eye open. Is this Feng Mao lock-in a direct response to Revenant being able to snatch him off objectives?
That is a good play as well. That immune shield. Feng Mao, like I said, he's not overall just a really good, solid character. Nothing amazing, but
oh, the ult was canceled by the knockback. However, the damage is huge for Honolulu. No worries and no opposition, as it's going to be the friendly robot Wally with some shields, who's going to be able to lock down a double kill and overall a 3-piece for their team. Blood is going to be forced to back here, as it is going to be Honolulu, who has an absolutely insane kill lead here within game 1 of the finals.
Yeah, and that kind of goes down to, you know, the Murdoch. He's fun. He's definitely memey, but it's nothing compared to like a true support. The Muriel giving shields and Gideon getting a really nice pull, nice combo. Murdoch going the damage build because that is how you're going to build him when you're going the knee build is what I'm going to start calling it.
Yeah, the knee build.
You have to go damage, right? You got the Dekima cannon and you're a support. You're not getting that much gold in lane compared to other people last hitting. So you're putting your all the money you can get into damage items. So whenever you get rocked like that by a Gideon, under leveled, under gold, under farms, it's gonna hurt a lot more than you would go the traditional support route.
I'm gonna be honest. I agree with you 100%, and it what you said just became so evident within that team fight. You are still a carry. Is your damage like going to be good? Yes. Is it going to be great? Fantastic. Absolutely confirmed. But what can you do for yourself? There's only so much peel this Steel can offer you, because he is really the only one who can offer it to this team composition. There's so much damage, but there's not nearly as much field control or sustain implemented into it, as we are going to see Feng Mao is just getting melted through. This is the OPL, not a cooking commercial, but I can't believe it's not butter the way he disappeared. Now Honolulu is going to be able to bring this Prime Guardian to knee, pushing it down fast to 15 point and down into the sub 12k threshold, which indicates this may be a full commit, as it is going to hit that 1/3 categorization. Some good damage here onto the Guinean. However, a big ult here coming out of Cranky, but no damage to be able to back it up, as on the back line, they are preoccupied with the Aurora, playing the space pretty well. It's going to be Still now looking for the disengage. However, it is going to be BT Blood who's going to be able to get a kill and draw over the Prime Guardian. Will be the rest of bad timing in order to try and get it to reset, in which case they do. However, what is going to cost, as now Revenant does get BT Blood within the ult, and it does result in the kill, as Conte is also going to be picking up one for himself. This team is on a rampage, and they are looking for blood. And out of the left field, we are going to see now Steel possibly going for a re-engage. He does have some damage to back him up with a combination of Regal as well as Feng Mao, but instead, the Conte crew goes, hey, a little bit risky on the Prime play. Let's go take us a Fire Spirit, because I like it hot.
Yeah, Prime plays are always risky there. And Blood doing a really good job of getting to the back line. Kind of, Mortgage is more of like a melee assassin, right? Think of like FaZe. Think of like, I guess we do with Countess. You know, you're going to the back line, and you're trying to be that melee assassin, that mage assassin. That's kind of how she plays. So she can be in a bad position, but really good job there for Blood, rotating around, getting a kill. On Jay there on the Gideon, getting a kill and kind of stopping that Prime Guardian pull.
Yeah, we are going to see a small engage here that isn't going to bear much fruit. However, Sparrow will be able to knock someone out of the sprint mode, as it is going to be Steel within the far ranges who's going to be able to lock down a kill onto Aurora. But it does still look like both of these teams are very much so prepared to fight around this Prime Guardian, and neither of them quite interested, as they are grouped in separate spots on the map. It is going to be Honolulu clearing out their jungle and securing it for Conte, while it is going to be BT and the Blood Boys here, spreading out across the map to not only push up their lanes, but also give their Feng Mao a bit of time to farm up on these objectives.
What a nice jungler.
So kind. So kind.
Giving, people in chat, people in your casual queues, if you're a jungler and I'm playing mid and I'm popping off, give me the damn blue buff.
Give me the blue buff, bro. Come on.
It's gonna give me 10 CDR. It's gonna give me so much more power. It's gonna give me mana regen, so I can stay longer in these team fights. Give me the mana buff.
I would say 1-3-1, not pop it off quite for my jungling brothers out there. You know, rise up. But, that's true. That's true. But also, as a Mortgage main, you should always give your Mortgage the blue buff. Those manas are hard, man. However, we are going to see over to the far side a little bit of a grouping onto the right, and everyone posturing around that Prime buff. And it is so important in this first game to set the tone, not only for the game, for your push, but for the series. And we can feel it here, man. I gotta ask you, I know you've ran competitive stuff before, however, on the Smite side. Does this take you back? Does this take you back to the days, Cordy?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. OP is a little bit more entertaining than the Smite competitive scene.
Let's go!
Fights like laning, team fight, laning, team fight. This is team fight, objective, team fight, objective.
For sure, man, because these objectives just have so much weight, as it is now going to be a speed buff that is going to be given to this Aurora, something that we have seen utilized before, just dropping that shield for the speed initially in case you need that person to engage a little bit faster than what they would previously, but ultimately is going to result in both of these teams kind of settling back and resetting themselves here. And while we do have a moment, we're going to take a moment to look at these builds here. We can see Conte is building, stepping out of the casting booth, my Grux build. Cordy, we were cooking these literal items. That's my recipe. I didn't know that he was also a chef of many memes. The combination of Spirit's Fang as well as Melodor Spray, very popular, but following it up with the extra sustain and shielding that is going to be provided by that emergency rescue unit, which is also off of these two items, going to give you about 40-ish power in itself already. Very, very prominent and very good on this character's Grux, especially as you're engaging.
a recently buffed item there, emergency rescue unit. So yeah, around this time, with the items that you're getting, it gives you 500 health, and then the passive increase your physical power by 20%, and then give you a shield equal to 20% of your max health for 3 seconds when you're below the threshold. The power that's coming from it's going to get better late game, right? Because you're going to get base stats. You might get some more power items, so it's going to get better. But right now in this item, it's like 30-40% power as well as 500 health, and a cheap item as well.
And we are going to see a drag here now as Jay's kind of cut off. However, he does have a Muriel as well. Whoa! And he did have a Muriel within that instance, as we are now going to see a team fight breakout. Sparrow here on the charge to break up as a double knockup does come out of steel. This is looking like a good team fight for bad timing. However, one of them is going to be pulled here into the shadow realm as we're going to be looking to play the space over to the side here. Conte here relatively close, and as his teammate is going to be coming out of the shadow realm, it is going to be a knockup here onto the Aurora to disrupt the ult, and as such, she is going to be melted. That's a Sub-Zero to a Scorpion, as one of them is quite literally liquefied. Now, bad timing after collecting 3 lives in exchange for none are going to make a rotation out.
Yeah, Prime Guardian on the horizon here, on the look here. They got to be careful on these pulls. Very low health bars, so they can burn it really quickly. We have Rex coming back. Mario's on her way as well.
Now, stepping back, there was a take here from Feng Mao onto the Deer, now increasing their passives up to the 10%. We have had it pointed out as it is going to be another big pull here from Conte. The damage is going to come through. However, the units that enter fire is going to at least make it a trade of the lives within this instant. Now looking to play the space and backing out. Sparrow only is going to get caught to the root after entering the sprint mode. On the backside, he is going to instead call for a disengage as they're going to take the trade there, as it does end up being a double kill for Conte coming out of the jungle. Pretty spicy. Pretty spicy.
That is a dub though. They lost 2, but they do have the Prime Guardian buff on their main characters, right? The backliners, the main damagers has that Prime Guardian buff. They might not get any inhibs out of this, but they prevent Honolulu, who is in control of this game. We'll be honest, they're in control for sure.
For sure.
So stopping them from getting the Prime Guardian buff and getting a little bit of gold themselves.
Yeah, man. And now, while we do have a moment here to kind of pivot over, we do see that now the fire spirits are going to be evened up here 2-2. I do see in the chat they wanted to address the prime steal from earlier. Sadly, guys, my key was stuck, so we were not able to go over to that instance. We are going to touch upon it. Trust us, guys. We are seeing it, although we don't see everything in real time. As to what you're seeing,
it is hard.
Is what we're also seeing within that instant. So just believe, guys, as we are also going to be touching upon this grouping here in mid, and this is possibly going to be a little bit of a bush Wookie play, setting up Cranky Trash Can over to the side. It is going to be the combination of Sparrow as well as Morgesh pushing up the lane. Bad timing now, looking for a fight and looking to possibly narrow the kill lead here as Vecron does hit the knee over to the side. It is going to be this Aurora who is going to get a soul steal, so if she does get within that low threshold, she is just a bit of damage away from becoming a stack, but within this instant, it is now going to be a huge ult from Steel, but also an amazing amount of shooting over the top side. Now it is going to be Jay here with a very good ult that is going to encapsulate one. However, the damage may not be there to follow up, but on his way down, he is going to get a combination of damage. CC'd out to the other side. He is going to be able to get a drag as Grux is going to keep up the initiation. Low health on both sides, but no more lives to be had, as it is going to be a 1-2 trade to go in favor here. A bad timing, at least within this instance. It's going to be a very low proficiency. He's going to be looking to play the space relatively close onto this left side inhibitor, demanding pressure as it does get very much lower. This team is one that is going to be able to engage quicker rather than not, as it is now going to be Prof, who is going to be outside of the engage with Cranky now left all alone, forced to dash his way home, and chasing down is going to be the team here, as it is going to be more than likely a pullback that does get hit here by Conte. Across words, it's going to allow him to get some damage off. However, it's going to be enough as Portal is up, and it is looking like Steel's trying to make it, but he will not, as it is going to be the cataclysm of this team just barraging him with damage on the way out and securing the kill for Honolulu.
Massive play there from Cranky, dude. He ulting the backline, getting multiple knockups on the ult, and then getting a dash through multiple targets as well. But I want to point out Jay as well, getting a really good combo, going in the air, getting some kills, getting some low health bars, and then able to survive that. They did lose one inhib. So there's a small little win there for the side of bad timing, taking that inhib. We got no objectives up at the moment, so they can stall for a little bit. By the time this inhib comes back up, the Spirit's going to be coming up, Prime's going to be coming up, so they got to be careful. They got to make their decision if they want to try to push this lane out really hard, or maybe fall back and just kind of make sure they guarantee get that inhib back up.
All right. In over here, it does look like we are fully at a disengage point. Does look like we are at a kind of reset point here for these teams. Cordy, are we seeing a comeback here? Because you said previously Honolulu is firmly controlled, and I have to agree with you 100%. We are seeing the itemization starting to scale, especially on Sparrow only on this Revenant. This man is shooting people for about a third of an HP bar. However, despite this, BT looking for the fights, have been doing pretty well in them. The mechanics here of Honolulu have been definitely standing up to large degrees of the aggression that is being portrayed, but some of them have started to become negative. Is this possibly a rallying we're going to be seeing here out of BT?
Yeah, right now it's a small little grouping. They know that Reb is on the left side of the map, so they do want to take a fight. That main target, that main character that's doing a lot of damage is out right now. And speaking of the Reb build, we got this Cloud Storm, we got the Secret Assassination Technique, we got the Key Mechanic going into Fronderis Flask for that item. Every time you get an auto, every time you use it's 60 power, 20 crit, and every basic attack, successful basic attack, is going to increase your crit rate by 10. So over the course of the time, it's going to stack up, and they believe it's to 50 crit. So on that last hit, you're trying to get that last hit on Reb is wanted to be your crit.
Big.
You want to try to guarantee that crit. So Fronderis Flask is a really good item there. So he's trying to farm. I mean, we might see him going into a Treasure Sword of Kingdom next. And when he gets there, he's going to be nasty damage late game.
Yeah, and we are now looking at a possible team fight. However, with both objectives up, you can see both of the teams are going to be playing a lot more carefully than what we've seen them being played before. Both teams are looking for a fight, but you're looking for fights around objectives being up. But now, with both of these teams scaling and knowing that either one of your carries can get picked, deleted, Gideon is within range before he can get the teleport. Revenant by himself can solo down with 4 shots your carry, and that can just basically, in a way, give away these larger objectives like Prime, and as such, kind of becomes this like risk versus reward, right, Cordy, of just, do we want to push up here? Do we want to look for this fight? And it becomes this game of just, we push a little, do you give? We push a little, do you give? As it does look like they're going to create a little bit of space here over to the side as we try to adjust this view to encapsulate this, granted, relatively hard angle to catch here within the jungle. It is going to be the content crew getting back just a little bit.
Vecron just tossing random abilities in the bush, having healthing Vecron, or sorry, Jay tossing random bushes in the jungle and half healthing Vecron. And there's a slow pull on this Prime Guardian right now at 10k.
Yeah, and it is going to be burn now, guys. We do have a little bit of a Prime party going up over under the wings. It is going to be the Smite who may get burned, so they have to go for a reset here. As it does successfully reset, it's going to be ult over the top from Jay. That is going to get the life of Vecron over to the side. Now, after initiating that team fight, it does look like they're going to have to be on the full retreat. It is going to be the Revenant that is going to get the ult off, and afterwards be able to secure the kill onto BT Bluff. Some low health bars here near the Prime pit. However, the enemy team has 3 down, and you have damage to burn as well as shielding that is going to be able to be accompanied. Is this going to be a push? And it looks like instead it is going to be Honolulu and the content crew taking what they have and then now backing off from it, as it is going to be the combination of Steel as well as Fang maybe looking for a little bit of a fight. It's going to be proficiency pulled here and not nearly the amount of sustain as he would like, but able to get the execute through the shield. There's going to be a major damage dealer down here, as it is now going to be a pull in from Cranky Trash Can. A combination. Another one is loaded up, but the double rug coming from Gideon is going to result in just another kill for this team in Honolulu, who has concurrently sent now 5 at different times to the gray screen and extended the kill lead.
Yeah, and the inhib is back up. They are able to save it, but Jay on the Gideon got the Witcher Shoe, has Rampaging Toto, has a full built-up Chemo Blaster going into a Vitality Lens as well. So much pin on this build right now. Tanks and squishies are going to feel that combo, that meteor dropping on their heads, and this ultimate is going to be hitting super hard on this late game. But Jay literally on this Gideon getting to that point where getting actually becomes a threat with these long range combos.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, we talked about it at the beginning of the game here, Cordy. You kind of play them into the late game. At the beginning, that ult's going to tickle a little bit, as we are going to see an engage here over onto the side on what looks to be this Fire Spirit that is going to go down, making it 3 in favor here of the Contact Crew in Honolulu, and another 2 going in favor of Bad Timing, stacking up to an additional 15% physical and magical power, which is going to scale very well, especially into Jay, who we were just talking about, with some of the damage in Pin that he already has built. Pin specifically coming from that Alchema Bastion, which is going to offer a 50% nullified magical defense buff to himself outside of the passives that are already on it. So he's going to be doing a lot of damage, and that double that we saw earlier off the pool plus rock may be just the beginning of some of the team play this team is going to have access to. And this is something we very briefly touched upon at the beginning of the match, and that is what you're going to be getting out of Morgosh in the late game equal to or worth what the other team is going to be able to put out? You have to spend a lot of resources engaging, protecting them. Also, comparatively, you know, it's not Brodsky, but comparatively, you don't have the exit option that Gideon can provide. You don't have the CC that a Gideon provides. So is this pick into the late game going to be worth it?
It really is if they can get in there, if they can get into the team fight, because Morgosh has to be melee range essentially to get her ability, to get the prime ability off, right? To get the dash in, to get the right click on. It's really close, and Steel's gonna be okay. You're gonna be able to dash out of here. But that's the problem with the Morgosh pick. You have to be pretty much in melee range to get that. And as a backliner, as a caster, you don't want to be that kind of character. You don't want to be up there. And Vecron,
and a pick. Yeah, man, and a pick over there into the jungle here as they just catch them out on the rotation so quickly now, making a rotation onto the Prime Guardian. They're going to be able to guarantee it basically for free, and unlikely to see Fang Mao be able to get a steal on this while everyone is able to play the spatial coverage. It is going to be Conte solo within the pit, playing the space over to the side. Now, it's going to be a combination of Fang Mao as well as the rest of the team behind the ice wall. The rest of Conte and Honolulu is going to be lurking, though. A stack to go in favor of Morgosh, though, as now it is going to be the interfire that is going to be proctoring the damage. It's coming up pretty big. Jalira with the black hole, however, does he have the damage there to back it up? It is going to be BT Bluff that is going to follow the BS. There, Sparrow only not only the engage. It is going to be a pull over to the side here, coming from the Grux. The big double pull into the ult is going to come up massive, but the damage is huge, as it is going to be a double kill going in favor of the Fang.
Fang Mao getting these good ultimates, man, on these thresholds. Again, the only really counter that we have against Shield is going to be that Fang Mao. So Fang Mao showing a lot of prominence in this tournament with the protections, with Muriel being really popular in the support role. Fang Mao doing a really great job of getting the damage on and getting those ultimates. And it looks like they're actually going to be trying to pull this early on. Prof rotating it early, half mana, so it didn't stay very long in the fountain. Trying to get this pulled.
Yeah, man, and Muriel as well is going to be present, but with the timers on Honolulu right now, there's no great options. This is going to be a prime party. However, there's only going to be Bad Timing who's invited, despite the kill as well as objective differential now being even up in a very significant way. That's going to do the shockwave damage not only to the inhibitors, but also to the waves, innately allowing them to push, as well as turning off those same inhibs and offering a buff to everyone who retains the buff, which, as it looks now, is going to be every single member here of Bad Timing, as they are going to start grouping near the mid lane.
Yeah, and it's really good team fights by these guys. Blub, again, I mentioned on the top half, if she can get into that back line, which she did, she was able to get to the back line, be able to kill Aurora, and then getting to, and did get picked up by the red, but able to get to the back line and get their damage off. As long as he can get in there and try to get his damage off, it's really that mage assassin type that Morgosh is going to be.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the time to shine, right? The boots, bells, Totos, and the pin all built in combination here. You're looking to do big damage if you're able to close that distance, and that is going to be a missed rock here as Gideon gets absolutely melted. He goes up, but he does not come down. The Amazon shipped him to God, as it's going to be Aurora who's going to take the expressway up along the ice slide and catch an ult over onto the back end. However, the damage is going to be coming up big here from Conte as he does activate the ult. He does get a good pull across. However, it's going to be good enough as the BT Blood is going to be able to get the kill here onto Conte. Now that is going to be 2 members down in exchange for the one. The enemy core here in Honolulu is getting burned away Hey, this game, which was firmly in their possession, is now on the line. It is going to be a blink out here from the Feng Mao as Aurora is going to be chasing, utilizing that mobility in order to try to close the space. It is going to now be proficiency in combination with Cranky and the full artillery of Bad Timing, who are going to be on the retreat, take 2 inhibs and dropping the core to 50%.
Yeah, looking at that team fight there, you might have think it was maybe a miscommunication. Jay literally going in, ulting in a few people, but he was the only one in there. And Sparrow and Morgus just looking at him and just smacking him with autos.
Pop. Yep.
And then right after that, Fender going in on the roar, blinking in, trying to get a freeze, but was the only one engaging. So maybe a little bit of miscommunication there. But Sparrow only not dying, Sparrow only on the rev, not dying in that little engagement, so able to stay back, and he was the reason why they were not able to make this push here. Just getting great damage off and getting that defense. Core defending is what they were doing.
This team in Bad Time is just coming up so huge in these team fights, and you have to understand that, when you're picking Sparrow and you're picking Morgesh, you have to play for that late game. And Conte, as well as Honolulu, it felt like they recognized that, and they were doing everything in their power to stop it from getting to this point, applying a surplus of damage, picking up some kills, getting the objective lead. With the exception of a steal earlier on, they had complete control of it. And whenever they were giving objectives up, it wasn't off of a bad team fight. It was, they can have this one. We need to go push this out. We need to go make this rotation. However, at this stint, as the damage is now online, 39 minutes, let's call it 40 into the game, they're online. They're online. You got the notification on Steam. You can send out the friend request. The invite is present. The damage from Vecron, the damage from Sparrow, the damage from Morgesh, and this is the question that I asked you earlier. Is the damage just going to be more than the shields can sustain this late into the game?
Yeah, and again, that's really the only counter. The other counter is just more damage, obviously, to Muriel. One thing I want to look at too is Fenner on the Aurora going for the Rampaging Soda. That's a really expensive item just to get full on damage. So him going in there, his health bar is getting melted really quickly. But if he can go in, get that freeze, get that damage, he is in there right now.
Oh, it is going to be still now going to be cut out. He does manage to avoid the pull into Under Tower as that tower is now up. But at this stint of the game, they are going to be playing really close to the tower line. However, it's going to be Honolulu who's going to be forced to be split in between these objectives at this point. Proficiency getting some damage off, and another pull here missing from Honolulu as he's going to catch a recovery on the backstring. Now, Murdoch able to just freely pelt with damage. It is going to be an overall onslaught. However, Aurora is going to offer a lot of anti-siege opportunities for this team. It has to be a big stand. We do know all 5 ultimates are going to be up for this team. Revenant needs to get a big pick as well as a big ult from Jay, and a big ult is what we've come to expect from players of this caliber. There has to now be a core defense as everyone is going to be looking to play the space relatively close together. There isn't too many big AoE ults on the other side, but the one that there is is huge, as it is now going to be Jay who's going to be able to hit an ult. However, it's going to be some mobility utilized to get out, and the damage that Grunts receives upon going in on the backline is going to be huge. Inner fire burning bright is going to melt through the health ones of not one but 2 of these team members. Over to the side is now going to be Aurora who's going to be able to selectively get a kill. A shield bash over to the backline is going to stifle the carry and Revenant for a degree of time. However, it is going to be the core that catches the melt, and it's a comeback for Bad Timing in game 1.
Oh, just not enough damage there. Jay going in and getting one target, forcing him to blink out, but other than that, no really follow-up, using his escape to go in. So when he came back down, he was just backpedaling while he's taking a beating. And Sparrow only taking some poke pre-fight, force it back up, and just great play. The turnaround from Bad Timing, and they were losing, but the clutch steals, the constant range poke, the Sparrow and Morgesh getting online, getting to late game. There's so much damage come out of there from Bad Timing, and really great team fights.
Oh my God, Jelly.
That was something else, man. I'm beyond impressed by BT's ability to hold out and stay resilient throughout that entire game. But honestly, I'm gonna call it as I see it. That was less BT winning and a lot more of Honolulu losing. that there were a lot of fights throughout that game while Honolulu was ahead that they just played very, very poorly, and BT took advantage. And they took advantage a second time, and then they took advantage a third time. And then that just put Honolulu on the back foot, and they couldn't recover. They kept slipping, they kept stumbling, and BT was able to just put their foot on the gas and push it through to the end. And incredible work.
Dude, yeah, it feels like, okay, we're playing for the late game. All right, we'll get there. We've arrived mid game. Honolulu slipped up, and this is something that you don't see a lot of teams are able to capitalize upon, but the best of the best are able to do so. They did. Okay, we missed a pull. We sent Grux in to invade. Gideon threw up an ult, but they had to blink up. Okay, he came down. Where are we? Where's the damage to back it up? Our mage got popped. Muriel also ulted on top of them. Now they got picked. Okay, they're going to be able to freely make a rotation over onto the Guardian. Then we can show a little face. Jungler went down. And these by themselves are not huge plays. But when you're able to scale as well as the draft for BT is able to, they're just plays you can't afford to make in a lot of these instances. And I mean, we saw it there. But, guys, now that I feel like we've had enough time looking at the damage numbers, Sparrow, as everyone can see, coming up absolutely huge. A hell of a comeback there, as we're going to be looking to make our way into the next game. We're going to take just a couple minutes. Where are you going to go? Because the best in Paragon, the Overprime competitive, is going to be right here. It's FTM, it's overpowered, and the T-On Invitational. Game 1 of the finals. It is a best of 5. For all you know, we got another 4 games in store with you. Don't go anywhere because we're going to be right back. Oh my God, guys! Oh, can our hearts handle a possible another 3 games of that? A possible number 4 games of that? Are we gonna hold out?
5 games. It's 5 games. Did you
5
guys,
games. Game 5?
Did you guys give us predictions on the game? By the way, like the
I
picked who was winning. But did you guys say who?
I put my prediction on a game 5. I believe that these. Well, I would say a game 4. I would say a game 4 as we are now going to be making our way into the draft here for this
3-1
part 2.
BTB is what you're saying.
Oh my god. Dude, this is tough. This is it. And Jelly, I feel like you kind of hit the noodle right on the head there, man. There's oh my goodness, dude. Okay. So actually getting in the mindset of a caster, not just a viewer there. There was just team fights where Honolulu just seemed to not be as organized as what they normally are. They didn't have that same degree of just overall, we're all together, same brain cell, team play where they were too split, having one person in the prime pit while everyone else was playing away on the space. And then from the backside, they were just able to get picked. Muriel goes over to engage and she's getting a drag back from the CC, and Grux is now being sent in to initiate. But one of the rare occasions, you're just out of Muriel's shield range. You don't have that follow-up to sustain, and it just makes these engages so hard. And it makes it so easy if you're a bad timing fan to put yourself back into the game. You have a team comp that scales so incredibly late, and all it took was getting there. 40 minutes into the game, what are you gonna do? 40 minutes into the game.
I don't know if it was miscommunication or cockiness or what happened with Honolulu in that game. They just, the further ahead they got, the more disorganized they became. And so it felt like they were just not figuring out how to close out that game. I was telling you guys in the break, Blub didn't get his first stack on Mortgage till 23 minutes in, right? He was behind the entire time. The duo lane tower did not fall on BT's side for the majority of the game. Like, what, Honolulu had such an advantage, and they didn't even have the tower down in dual lane. They just fell apart, I think, on their communication with that lead. And I want to see them change that. That if they get that same lead in this game, they're able to use that to keep the momentum and put themselves into a win.
100%.
I'm curious if we're gonna see a Mortgage pick here again. Blub, he did great when it came to the late game, but getting to that was a
He struggled.
kind of a chore. It was a struggle, right, to get to that late game. So I'm curious if they're gonna, we tried it. Oh, there it is. It's back.
Which is
believe in it.
Maybe your stats were correct, Cordy. Maybe this is the future of Paragon competitive.
Mortgage is the future.
Mortgage is our future. Successfully converted. However, I also want to talk about them going back to this pick for Sparrow, and it very much so feels like their strategy is just to play it to the late. And this is something we've established before when we've been talking about Conte as well as just Honolulu in general. They are very aggressive early, and the difference is they just don't normally drop leads. It felt like that last game, they made smaller missteps, but it was just taken out of their hands. And because of such, a lead was just so easily expanded upon, we'll say that, for this team in bad time whenever they were able to make the plays that they needed to get back into the game, to take a step towards that late game. And I mean, if it's not broke, why try to fix it?
And I'm very curious about this Revenant ban. Right, BT, while Revenant did get ahead on the side of Honolulu, BT showed their ability to counter that Revenant. Stick a Feng Mao on him, make sure that Feng Mao's a nuisance. Revenant won't be able to do anything in that late game. So they don't leave it open, they ban it out instead, getting rid of the potential Murdoch pick for themselves. I wonder if they have some other plan going on in here.
Yeah, no, another thing I want to touch on is the Grux pick. Like, playing or watching Conte play, we saw a lot of Kwong. Like, even this tournament, we saw a lot of Kwong. And we saw Xena every now and then. I rarely feel like I ever see him on the Grux. Not saying that he can play it at a high level, but maybe like in this stage, this finale, I want to see more of the Kwong. Why is Kwong not being picked up here? He showed like he's dominant on that character, so I'm really curious to why we have not seeing him being picked up.
Yeah, man. And one thing that I do also want to kind of bring up as we're getting into this game too is there is kind of that reliance on some degree of comfort picks, as there it is. The Conte Seth. Game 2. Reaching for the Severo. This is a very heavy sustained team over here with some still good setup utilizing the combination of the Grux pool as well as Jay, which we did see come up big in a lot of moments on this Gideon pick. But Sev, scaling late game, is he going to be able to outscale the combination of Morgesh and Sparrow damage? These are two characters on the different side of the damage spectrum, and one thing that's been brought up before is it's hard to build to withstand both. So if you get to that late game, it's that HP that Severo is going to be able to have going to compensate for the amount of HP that he's very quickly going to be losing in these team fights and in these engages. It's the scale of running a character like this. As well as that, we are going to see Feng Mao be picked up back on the other side of BT, and it kind of hits me with the question of just why and in which way is that better than picks that we've seen you go huge on, like Xena? I was assuming the last pick of Feng Mao was just into the Revenant, but by banning out the Revenant, I assumed most certainly we'd be seeing something else this game, but it looks like if it's not broke, why try to fix it? And they're going to be running a very similar comp to last time. All right, Jelly, we're going to see you on the other side, brother, as we are going to be making our way into game 2, ladies and gentlemen, of the T-On Invitational. It is going to be Honolulu trying to bring it back, having a commanding lead within the last game, now looking to extend their chances of that $1,000 by taking this one. We've seen them make some adjustments before. We see them now staying relatively consistent in draft. However, pivoting back to a fan favorite, that is going to be Conti on the Sevarog pick. And we'll see. Cordy, do you think this is enough to not just win this game, but to put the momentum back in their pockets for this series?
Yeah, Sevarog is, again, we people have talked about it multiple times. We've talked about it multiple times. Sevarog is a very comfortable pick for Conte and as well as the EU junglers in general. They really love that Sevarog pick. But I do like the pick ban phase that we had, right? They picked and banned characters that other people were kind of popping up, right? We got rid of the Murdoch for the side of bad timing. They got rid of the Aurora that was played by Fender on the side of Conte. So really good to see those, like, picking other characters that they were playing, just kind of get them out of their comfort zone a little bit. But going over comfort zone, the Feng Mao might be a comfort pick for Prof here.
It could potentially be a comfort pick for him, as we are going to see Sparrow only is going to be able to get a little bit of poke damage off here with another game before we do see Prof make this rotation on his way towards mid. However, being picked up a little bit early, are going to bail on it as they're now going to be showing face into the jungle here, while there's going to be Sevarog looking to make a rotation over to it. And this is one of the weaknesses that we've talked about time and time again with Sevarog. While there are going to be multiples on the rotation, he does have access to that blink up. It's the mobility that Sev has isn't stated too frequently, but it is something that definitely needs to be mentioned, as we are going to see now. Prof is going to get caught out by the persistence of them utilizing their mobility to try to chase down. It is now going to be in good old-fashioned blink that is going to be utilized here onto the Feng Mao, as it is going to be a first blood being picked up here by Gideon within game 2, sub 3 minutes into the game, after just running down the opposition. It is going to be Conte, and this is kind of what you need to do when you're playing with these slower clearing junglers who you're getting ready to scale into the late game. You just can't let them be invaded here too much earlier, and showing there, hey Prof, you can do that, but we are going to punish despite the mobility and extra protections that are offered by Feng Mao.
Yeah, not only the slow jungling by Sevarog, but the slow clearing by Morgish as well, right? Gideon had wave pressure early on. They knew that was going to happen. They were predicting that was going to happen, so he had that early pressure mid, so he can mac and rotate and keep Morgish out of the team fight just a little bit longer, so it can be a 2v1 for a couple more seconds. But yeah, great rotation there by the side of Honolulu, Jay and Conti, knowing that was going to be the play that happened, and extending a blink but getting a kill out of it is definitely worth it for first blood.
Yeah, and as far as scaling into late game goes as well, I do like this Aurora pick. Being able to set up on the back of her ult is going to come up pretty big if these teams are going to be looking to team fight to that mid and late game to either build themselves a lead or just end the game outright if your damage does get to that point. We are already seeing, though, some of the trades in the lane starting to veer their way towards this BT roster. Recovery is going to be used on the other side to give them some degree of that HP back, as now we're going to see a little bit of an uncommon sight. This is a Sevarog invading. Slow clear and all, while it's now going to be Feng Mao showing a little bit of face here in the mid lane, and a reset from both teams. That same tension being sustained within this game, as it is going to be a dive within the dual lane that is not going to bear any fruit, at least within this instance. Now Conte basing and looking to get some degree of a power creep.
Yeah, trying to make that rotation, but just a lot of pressure from the dual lane of Sparrow only and Kiwi on the Muriel. Just a lot of pressure that they got going on. Regal, half health, low mana, forced to be under his tower. Yeah, right now just got a little laning going on. Looking at builds here, so we got a Sparrow with the going into the speed booster, into the Vishanti handgun. Vecron going with a little bit more damage. I might be.
This might be a negative trade here in the mid, as Jay is going to be chased off of the lane over to the far side, though it is now going to be Rux looking to get some degree of a damage trade, pulling Aurora into the own frostering while it is going to be in the mid lane. Once again, a proficiency just showing face to the opposition.
I wonder if we're going to see a teardrop from Vecron. Going into the branch of world tree, there may be so many pathing options you get from those items, from that item. So I don't know. Maybe he's going to go in there, root off the mark from Sev. A little bit of question mark from BT Blood.
And as it is now going to be Kiwi kind of playing a little bit of the Bush Wookiee game, and Conte making his rotation over. I am definitely getting the feeling this is going to be a little bit of a slower game. Fire Spirits definitely lend themselves to automatically amplifying the game. You're looking for fights, you're looking to be able to lock that down. But while this being a win spirit, a still extremely
really good
spirit, still an extremely good spirit. In the finals with the $1,000 on the line, I'm not seeing, or I'm not forcing these teams willing to fight as frequently for it. However, we are going to see a grouping in the general vicinity as one team here in the contact ground, Honolulu, is going to be looking to set up for the objective.
Red buff. Yeah, great ward coverage by Conte and crew. Or Honolulu, sorry. Old name. Does it hold hurt? Does it kill? It doesn't.
No, not quite, but it is going to be a very low, and it is going to get picked up over by the Mortgage on BT Blub on the dive behind the tower there. Now this team going to go continue on with this raid over onto the side.
Yeah, we have a rotation here. Go for the red buff.
Yeah, looking at what we're going to see out of this, it is going to be a big pull-in, but a combination ult here coming out of the Aurora is going to be basically nullified by this Gideon along the top side of the spell shield, eating any iteration of the damage. Conte over to the side is going to be assailed upon by BT Blub here. It is going to be a pretty solid damage trade, but there's not going to be enough mana to possibly get the ult off. Who gets it? And it is going to be the Mortgage who's going to be able to swing it over to the side now. It is going to be a team fight here as Proficiency does get pulled in, and Fidier is going to be able to pick up the kill. Is going to swing outside of their favor, resulting in what looks like a 2-0 trade going in favor of Honolulu, who is now going to go aggroing on top of the Prime Guardian underling.
Muriel, just Muriel, making that fight was looking, it was really bad for Honolulu, but Muriel able to make that rotation and forcing it to be a 3v2 and just giving the shields, keeping Jay alive, and Conti able to get that kill. It's the solo kill there on the back line.
Taking a moment to look at everyone's builds, as I think that we will have a brief second, but the ward coverage is now going to look like it is going to swing in favor here of the blue side, and bad timing as Vecron is going to make his way over, instead of putting one onto yellow portal, which looks like it does just very briefly pick up the ward, but it's going to be left for the time being now. Muriel not making a rotation over to it, and Grux, I mean, doing tank things. Tanks what tanks are going to do within the solo lane. These guys looking to scale. It's going to be Jay once again picking up those witches shoes. And Regal with this merchant's jewelry box is going to be absolutely key fighting into the Sevarog in the later stages of the game, as it is going to be the red team in Honolulu who are now going to be assailing atop of the Wind Spirit, being dropped to the sub 5,000 and now 4,000 XP. It is going to get burned, and it looks like it is going to be free as this team in bad time gets interested, not in contesting, but instead just trading the objectives and picking up the Prime Guardling for themselves.
Yeah, Spirit is definitely going to be the more valuable trade here. Right, it's going to give you, especially as being a Wind Spirit, it's going to give you, the +4 movement speed, +4 attack speed, and -4% cooldown. So you allow to cool down the underling. It'll allow you to get a tower. So you'll get that tower, which eventually all the towers are gonna be gone. So getting that Wind Spirit throughout the entire, those stats throughout the entire game, definitely more favorable trade for Honolulu.
Now, it does look like we're doing a little bit of reset, and kind of pivoting over to you here, Cordy. After what happened last game, I'm going to put you in the coaching seat here. I'm talking about the Gold Whistle. We got to come up with a nickname for this. We might call it the Cordy question, the CQ. You're coaching this team, or coaching Cordy. I kind of like that. We're going to call it the CC. You're coaching this team in Honolulu. I know, big ask, Jesus Christ. But with that in mind, right? With that in mind, what are you telling them at the back end of that, not team fight that led to them losing, but the back end of that game, as we are going to have to jump over to what looks to be a fight breaking out over here in the solo lane, and the ult here coming from the door is going to lock down Cranky here. Just temporarily, as he is not going to be able to get out, but getting off the rotation is going to be able to almost lock up proficiency, as it is going to send him to the gray screen instead, as he did attempt to get the blink over. However, met with the wall there, it is going to result to another kill leading in the column here for Honolulu, looking to put it onto the boards. What are you telling Honolulu as far as gameplay you need to change for this game in order to gain this momentum and take this in game 2?
Really, honestly, just keep doing what they're doing, right? They're ahead on kills, they're ahead on the objectives. Just keep playing, and maybe a little bit more rotation on the mid lane. Blub forcing out the ult from Muriel.
Yeah.
Rotation here by Sebra. Can he get the going?
And he's going back in, but the immediate ult and the shield is going to lock it down now, resulting in a death here for bad timing. Blub on his way of a cheeky rotation out, but then back in, utilizing his blink knowledge. It's going to be to this team that is going to be down, meaning that this Morgus is not going to be able to safely push up for a surplus of time here with this jungler lingering and looking to stack himself some degree of CS. A ballsy play, I will say, but in the face of the Muriel, kind of maybe a bit on the greedy side.
It's up, man. You always think, like, even on the left side, when we're having that little skirmish around the solo lane, you're thinking that you're more favorable than the matchup, but there's always in the back of the line, man. Like, if this fight goes even, Muriel can show up and make it uneven instantly. Yeah. Muriel is just such a big presence in this game, in this tournament, really. But yeah, as I was saying, as they were doing it, if they just keep pressure on Blub, we don't want that Morgan to get to late game. Late game, she's disgusting. We don't want her to get there. Not having any mobility, try to force a blink out. Blub going in was going to die, so he was forced to blink back up and try to get a kill at least. Didn't get the kill, lost blink, so now he's just in a more tougher situation on this mid lane.
Yeah, man, and it feels like a large part of what people struggle with on this team, as we are going to see Grux here getting sailed upon over onto the side lane. It is now him jumping down, Finnier with the pull, but it will grab none. But Conte here now looking to get it engage off, as it's going to be Sephiroth as well as Grux here with the big ult. The Mako is going to sustain and mitigate some degrees of the damage. However, it is not a trade yet, as Grux is going to be the lowest within the field. However, Proficiency now playing the space relatively well onto the backline. It is going to be an Aurora ult that is going to come onto the difference of the backline here for the Honolulu crew. Bursting down, the team fight is split into 3 different divisions. However, this one that we're looking at here is going to be Cranky Trash Can looking to get out. He is going to ice dodge his way out of the engagement, but only for a brief time, as it is going to be Elsa who is sent to the Shadow Run, while over onto the far side, Kiwi is going to go down, it looks like, but no, he sustains and is able to get his team out. The prioritization and the shields lend itself to being a 1-2 trade going in favor of Honolulu.
Yeah, those fights are all over the place. It seemed like there was like mixed communications on that team fight, and Gideon doing a lot of damage. Regal, low health.
And a blink forward here from Sparrow, only Regal so very low. And is the ult going to be up? It is not, but the Mordhawks are. Vecron having to play the space, looking to just get out behind the tower. He will be safe, man. Hey, I never thought I'd see a dancing sugar chinchilla in the competitive scene, but hey, we got it right here, as Vecron is going to smooth criminal slide his way out of a kill.
But yeah, that team fight was all over the place. Kazi was going in to like 1v3, 1v4. It was in that tight little corridor, so it was a pain in the ass to go through. Blub was on the window, knocking abilities, throwing abilities, just being a nuisance, going down, and we saw the Grux rotate on the Morgish. And Kiwi had the decision. He was like, do I stay here and help and try to kill this Morgish, or do I try to go and help Conti, who's in the 1v3? And he chose to help out Finner, try to stop this Morgish from getting, which is a great call.
Yeah.
Sebra goes down, he's your tank, that's fine. You want to kill that damage dealer. You want to kill that the one of the main source of late game damage that's going to be coming out of Morgish. You want to get that person down, and he almost got the kill though. He almost got the kill on the Grux.
Yeah, and we are now going to see an engage on the Spirit here from multiple members of the team, as it is going to get burned below that 2000 HP threshold. No jungler, it seems, in sight here, as it is going to be another easy smite going over to Honolulu. And the question kind of becomes, is bad timing in such a space that they are just willing to give up these spirits to prioritize farming. The faster they get late game, the better it seems, and risking anything that could like put them behind here just seems, what's the word, not in their interest. They know you may have this spirit, yes. I am going to continue killing T-Ons here at the T-On Invitational. Thank you very much. I'll catch you at 40 minutes, as that is now a secondary spirit with basically no contest on it.
Yeah, and it is a strat for sure to try to get to late game, but you don't want to give out so much, right? You don't want to give out multiple spirits. You want to give out multiple kills. You don't want to give out farm. The enemy like Conti right now, they were in the enemy jungle trying to getting farm. You don't want to give out too much, or this late game becomes almost impossible to reach.
Yeah, now it's looking like Vecron is going to possibly be pushing along with this duo, but a retreat there within the duo lane where the red team is going to lend itself to not having a team fight, as it's going to be Honolulu with both the objective and the kill lead here. However, I would be lying to you, man, Cordy, if I said anything outside of, with every minute of this game, I get a little more worried. If I would be lying to you if I didn't say I get a little bit more stressed with every second that this game goes on, and knowing where this team is going to be able to scale with damage output at the very least, as we are going to see in the solo lane. Both teams clearing. However, now it is going to be an engage over here onto that prime guardling, as we like to call it. The portal being taken here by Murdoch. It is going to be Vecron showing a little bit of face here, as the jungler is relatively close, but not close enough, as it is going to be locked up. But we may see an engage here on the back line here. A teleport in as well, and as an ice wall over to the side is going to lend itself to a big Aurora ult over to the side of the team fight here. On the side, it is going to be a big pull in here coming out of the Gideon. However, it is not going to be big enough for it not to lend itself to a bingo trade. Currently a 2-for-1, and a lot of resources expended here, as both sides are now going to go for a disengage.
Yeah, 2-for-1 trade. Great Aurora getting to the backline and getting on to Sparrow only, getting the ult off there, but no follow-up. It was just him in there by himself, kind of zoning, no damage follow-up, and lost the life of Jay, but they were able to get 2 kills out of it, the jungler and the opposite mid laner, as well as getting the underling. So just overall, good positive win there for Honolulu.
Oh man, 100%. It is a positive damage trade. And also, as far as things do go, Sparrow only now 2 items deep. Does have the combination of Merchant's Jewelry Box as well as Electric Stone, and is currently 2-0. Regal, same itemization for the most part here, actually precisely a little bit further ahead on the building for the night item with the giant stagger in, but 0, 1, and 2. However, the CS difference is a Stark about 15-ish at this stint of the game. While we might get a small skirmish here with the mid lane, instead is going to be a disengage here coming out of these teams who aren't looking quite yet for another fight, as objectives are going to be up. It's another 15 seconds here until the prime guardian is up, not the underling, which is now going to be dropped here within the mid lane, buying time for Cordy here. Not Cordy, Conte. Cordy's in, which is going to be
playing in casting, boys.
Dude, that's the secret. That's the secret. Which is going to buy now time for Conte to be able to get an invade over onto the far side.
Yeah, going over the farm. So there is a slight difference in farm on the dual lane, but I will say there's been a lot more rotations to the objectives from Honolulu. So missing out on farm and bad timing not rotating to the objectives, allowing them to get more farm. So a little slight difference in CS, but gold might be around the same. Just getting those objectives and getting more kills and on the board there for the dual lane. But yeah, looking at this team comp, we got the jewelry box, or looking at the team build. Sorry, yeah, jewelry box, electric stone. They're going to start prioritizing into that pen. Right now, we see Sparrow only going into a little bit of pen. Regal maybe soon will start going into that pen, if that's going to be what those items are going to be building into. Blub got the Witch's Shoe, has the Bells of Purification online, pen already fully built for Jay. The Alchema Blaster's online to deal with the Aurora, and he's already ready. So at that stage, if you're a tank and you're building into magical defense, you're already being countered as you're building into it. So that's an early buy there on the Alchema Blaster.
Picking up, definitely aware that in these team fights, damaging down this Aurora and kind of forcing them to utilize those abilities instead of set up the space to retreat. It's going to be big for them to be able to win, as we are now going to see the Prime Spirit is
Another-
going to come back up. And it
another
looks
one.
like this is also just going to be given away.
Tree.
Bad timing has not put any prioritization on these spirits, and it's now coming to a threshold where it feels like Honolulu knows it. They're just, oh, it's up, take it real quick, and they are now immediately moving on to something else, as we are going to see this team starting to gather here within the dual lane. This tower most definitely going to be taken, as we can see that the roster for Bad Time gets spread out throughout all the various points of the map, one of which is, though, going to be an invade over to the far side at the behest of this Feng Mao, who is going to be pushing a degree of inhibitor damage. Now, one thing to keep in mind is when this shockwave does come through, if you have let your inhibitors go too low, it will damage them to such a point to where taking Prime can put them down. That makes a siege on the core that much easier in a lot of instances. It can be what these competitive teams are playing for. In some of our previous conversations, as well as tournaments that we've hosted here, Cordy, I think it was in the Cordy Cup that we saw one of the teams get all of the inhibitors low and leave them there, so that whenever they got to the Prime take, it just bursted them down all on the same timer.
Yeah. And right now, just we talked about it. We understand like Mortgage late game, Sparrow late game. We'll get to the late game, boys. Don't worry. But this is looking more dominant for Honolulu in game one, or in game two, than it was in game one. They're just taking much more. They have 3 spirits to none. They have a few underlings. Guardian is up right now. There's a little bit of positioning going on, and there's only so much you can bleed out that makes that late game potential unreachable.
Yeah, and it definitely feels odd. I would be shocked if we did not see anyone from Bad Timing show face at the Scylla and be willing to like lose a couple lives for it. I would be bamboozled if Scylla comes up and we do not see the roster of the Bad Timing there within the next couple minutes, as we are going to be seeing a grouping here from the content crew in Honolulu setting up around the general space of the jungle. Now retreating out and showing their face mid. It is going to be proficiency in combination with some of the other members of Bad Timing who look like they may be relegated to just watching this buff go down inside the red side.
Yeah, just try to still farm from the jungle, try to keep that lead above the jungle. Just try to put on a little bit behind, taking the objectives, maybe looking to get a pick. But right now there's a lot of wards. They don't want to pull the objective yet. Even though you're ahead, it is really tough and tricky pulling the objective for the Prime Guardian. So right now they're just looking for picks, trying to clear our jungle, getting wards up, and kind of go from there. If they can get a lucky pick, then we'll probably see them try to pull that objective.
And now a big question that we haven't quite looked at yet, what is the stacks looking like on Kantan? I mean, they're not small. 162 and about just a bit over 20 minutes in. However, in the mid lane, we do have a fight here. Breaking out the silence is going to be utilized, as this is going to be a dragon that is going to hit Numb within this moment. It is now going to be a double blink over the top here for the Gideon, which is going to only hit one now, forcing out the blink. The ult is going to be down here for the mage of the red team, as these teams are now be playing to either side of their towers. There's only one existent, though, at the moment, as it is now going to be the Aurora, who's going to disengage, as well as a degree of healing here coming from that Mako, backing up very much so. They may be just looking for a fight, as they do get the drag back here onto the Mortgage. It is going to be a blink. No, it is going to be a knock up here coming out of the Severus. That ult is going to be utilized. That was a quick rundown, and we can see the advantage already starting to build. This team, hey, your mage is down. Now we can get a little bit active here on you. You want to get close? My pleasure. And Sephiroth feeling comfortable with the amount of not only defense but health that he has built noticeably here. Treya's band increasing all of the mural shields he's going to be receiving by 40%. Also giving him another 40% HP, and on top of that, 10% cooldown, 2 health regen. Sev, the stats are looking kind of stacked here, 24 minutes into the game.
Staying on with the Severok, I really like the Severok pick versus the Grux pick that we saw in the jungle. Grux, you have to really, dash in or blink in to kind of get any kind of like gank or root on the enemy, the immobile character in Morgesh, really. But with Severok, he can toss out a ranged root to allow his team and himself to get closer. So you're not have to using that dash or using a blink to get closer. Just allows for a different type of karma item in there, but as well as just keeping that pressure on the Mortgage right now. Blood 1 in 5 on the Mortgage. doesn't have blink available for 160 seconds. So around this next team fight, he is another really easy target for Honolulu.
Yeah, and as it is now going to be a dash in coming here from Finir over to the side, it is going to be an ice wall to create some space. However, the thing you create a space around has a lot of lines on that HP bar, as it is now going to be Aurora, who looks like they have been called out, having now to utilize a blink from what you can see in order to just preserve their life to some degree. It is going to be Cranky, who is trapped on all sides, and Ice Slip over the top will allow them to get out of that fight, while it is going to be Morgesh here over to the side, hoping to free cast some damage, but now Grux and their attention is on you. You have to get out there at this instance, as now Mako is not going to be able to there not only to displace but help save this team. And ult here from Jay is going to hit absolutely none within the window spot, as now it is going to be a pull in onto Morgesh from the side, and she is deleted. Such is also going to be Kiwi.
Really, that's a win for bad timing.
Yeah, that
Morgesh not as much as impactful as a Muriel.
Yes, but especially here at the 25-minute threshold, where Muriel is going to just be throwing out additional HP bars, man. Oh, I think I can. No, as it is now going to be Grux being assailed upon over to the side. It is going to be this Murdoch who accepts his fate. Hey, I'm out of position. You're right. However, one saving grace is the fact that it is now going to be a reset onto the Spirit, which seems to be lost.
There it is. It's back.
There we go.
I think Sparrow only, he was just kind of like stationary, and I saw him lag a little bit. I think he might have had some issues there, but Ruler's Spirit still is being pulled right now to 57 HP, or 5700.
Yeah, and we are going to see here, Conte is going to show face. That is going to be 3,000 HP on it. I don't know if he's going to be able to get this steal into the face of, whoa, almost an express delivery. However, it is going to be taken, as it is going to be Conte with the steal, making his appearance as one of the fastest smites in the West. Over onto the mid lane, though, now it is going to be some relatively low health bars here coming from Jay, having to play the space, and utilizing the shield will save his life from the Morgesh. BT Blub, not what you want to see on your Morgesh pick. 1 and 6, 175 CS to help kind of offset to a degree the level differential between him and Shay, but also of the most note, 0 stacks on the basically passive here. No increased damage percentages for the Morgesh or for Blub this game. However, it may be a Prime Guardian instead, as the 6th man of the year is going to be hit with the big pull off the Prime Guardian. Looking to make a rotation over to the side here is going to be Cranky. However, he's a lot squishier than he anticipated to be. It is going to be the Prime Guardian. As we let our hair down, the party has invited each and everybody, and it is going to be dropped down to 5K. A big pick here, as it is going to be the Murdoch who's going to be able to get the Aurora pull. Possibly a reset over to the side, as it is going to be a big pull over onto the down on the backline. It is going to be interfire. That is going to be proc. However, what is going to go down is going to be multiple members of this team. Proficiency does utilize the smite, but Sparrow only goes big and sends BT home here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a quadrant looking like here for the carry. Unless he brings home the pentakill. With every inhib down, it's the EU boys coming in from across the pond, waking up the NA team.
Sparrow only 8-1-1, getting the pentakill when it mattered the most. All the inhibs going to be going down. 3 seconds on Aurora, 10 on Sparrow. Got to get all the inhibs back, and they have a lot of gold in hand. Right now, 3,300 gold on Sparrow only. Woo! The carry.
Dude, the carry San 18. No matter where you are, no matter what you do, the backpack is here for you. You set me up, give me the alley-oop, or bringing it home for a dunk. That, ladies and gentlemen, has been our overpowered play of the finals.
First penta in the tourney, man. Oh,
that is spicy. Hey, Chad, I'm gonna need to see that clip. And I'm gonna need to see a little bit of hype here for the EU team, looking to even it up.
Backed, spent all their gold. Now they're looking to push it down and end this game. 30 minutes, looking to end it in 30 minutes here. All 5 taking the victory run to the core. Let's see if these bad timing can stall out here.
Yes, indeed. And now This team looking to get a solid grouping over here onto the side. They are going to get some damage across immediately. That is going to be an ult here coming from the Murdoch, which will relegate Regal to the be right back screen. It's a little gray where I'm coming from. However, it is not going to be Cranky Trash with the trash pickup over onto the side. Relegating him over to the side. It is going to be proficiency, but it doesn't matter because game 2 is going to Honolulu.
I think we see the flaws in Morgesh. I don't know. Are you coming to the realization of the flaws that Morgesh has?
Sir, your pick banned. I'm gonna need you to go look at your stats.
Top damage for sure. BT Blob on his team, top damage, but just really tough, right? And you don't have that mobility. You have to be more of a melee assassin, melee mage assassin. But it really puts you in an awkward spot to kind of get more damage overall.
It feels like those wind spirits started mattering a little bit. Mattering just a little bit there. Checking with you, Cordy, or either of our teams looking to change sides.
Yeah.
And Jelly, during that time, what did you pick up that game, dude? What did you pick up that game?
Absolutely wild game from Honolulu. He did an incredible job of maintaining that control. Once they built that lead up and they kept their foot on the gas, they definitely picked it up a lot better and fought better around the team fights that they had this game compared to the first. Incredible work by Sparrow only picking up that pentakill. Absolutely incredible. And I think honestly, we saw that spirit fight where Sparrow only kind of was just standing there. I think there was a DC. I saw him jump across the map a little bit, and there was a rubber band there. And right afterwards, he went, you know what? That was BS. I'm coming back. I'm getting a penta and I'm ending this game. And he did exactly that. So incredible work.
Dude, that you have to feel that Sparrow is in his room. So many profanities, and a lot of them got to be concluded with "Let's go," the hype, the energy. The chat is feeling it here at FTM Overpowered. We are bringing it in, and God, it looks like Honolulu is interested in bringing it back. But I know one thing, and I know one thing for sure. Bad timing, they get a little bit of a passive of their own, and that's whenever they're playing angry, they play better. And I don't think in front of 300 plus people, the Paragon, the Overprime community coming up big, they're feeling, a little subtle or a little restless after losing that game. I'm expecting to see BT popping off in this next game in Honolulu, hitting them right back with it. Guys, we're going to be right back here with you. It's Ego, it's Cordy, it's Jelly, the finals of the T-On Invitational. We'll see you in just a minute. Gamers. I'm gonna talk to you quiet here for just a second. You guys know where you're at. Overpowered, FTM, T-On Invitational. We like to keep it high. We like to keep it a little overpowered, some would say. I'm here, Ego, Cordy, JellyKnees, bringing the casting to you, bringing the content that this community deserves right to your screen. And I got a singular question for you. I don't know if you think it's who you got, but it's not, because I know who you're rocking with. The comments, you guys are getting loud, but I need you to be a little bit louder. My question is, are you entertained? Because this right here, it's happening because of you, and we are going to be getting right into it. Jelly, Cordy, we know we got at least a game 4. I got a question for us, and that's, are we ready here after the bounce back coming out of Honolulu? Absolutely going big, as we now are going to be making our way into the game 3 drafting phase. I'm going to keep the cameras up here on us for a brief period. Give me your thoughts on what we have coming and what we've seen come through already.
I think going into this draft, we're going to see Morgesh not get picked up, and I can see definitely we see a Sevarog band come through, because Conte on Sevarog did so much work in that last game that I think they have to respect it, and they either got to ban it out or they got to pick it for themselves.
Yeah, I can agree. I feel like we don't see a Morgesh, even though she did have top damage that last game on her team. So many deaths. You're going in, you're running through people, you're trying to get the right click and melee range, so you're gonna get through damage for sure, but you're also gonna die as well. And as a caster, you want to try to stay alive as long as you can and try to do just more damage overall. You don't want to go in and just die immediately.
Yeah, man, 100%. And as a member of the Church of Morgesh, I have, you have to come to terms with the fact that late game, she's amazing, she's phenomenal, she's so good. I'd make the argument she's so great, but you gotta get her there. And we've seen now that Honolulu, they just have the formula to shut it down. So what mage do you pivot to? We know off rip that, I don't want to say isn't, but Blub isn't as prevalent of a mid player as some. He originally started in the carry role, and that's why we do see a double carry coming on a lot, because that kind of play style, that kind of scaling fits in a lot of instances. The type of play that he just brings to the game, as we are also going to see a Revenant ban out here. However, with that in mind, is there a mage they can comfortably pivot to? I personally would like to see them take, Muriel.
She's so strong in these team fights.
Just taking it out of the hands of that team, no longer giving them the option to even be able to pick it up. I have to agree with you there. I like it. It's almost a ban in its own way. Is this team going to be able to fight as comfortably and as confidently without the shields that she's going to be able to provide?
I think something that they can do in the face of not having that Sevarog is they can pick up Adele. We haven't seen Adele in this finals match yet, but I think Adele can definitely provide a lot of the similar space Sev can, while creating space with her ultimate as well, and doing a great job in that. So we'll have to see if she gets picked up.
Or crazy pick here,
Kwong. Bro, my man's went missing in the finals.
I did see some messages in the chat about Kwong specifically, talking about how on the ping that Conte is now playing on for for NA, that Kwong would be a harder pick, and I can definitely see how that would be the case.
He has played on ping. With Kwong.
Exactly that. Within the last tournament, so here's my thing. The reasoning for ping differential is something that can be brought up, yet you can't bring it up when you beat the best NA team on an NA server in the last tournament. Playing Kwong.
Even in this tournament, he's played Kwong on ping. Was dominant.
The
question there becomes, is he taking this one more seriously?
Bro, I don't think I've ever taken anything more seriously in my life, guys. We are going to see now locked in. Put respect on her. Look at me, Cordy. I need you to look at your camera. Look at me. Look at hot pick. There it is. The Morgie.
That's a bold pick. After you just shut down Morgesh 2 games in a row.
And they get the Kwong. Oh man, are the names right?
Right. Perfect. Woo. Now, Proficiency is someone we've seen operate very well on Kwong's pick. However, this is the biggest stage. This is exactly what we're going to be looking to bring into it. And can you do that into this opposing team where we are going to be seeing a tankier composition on this Adele in the jungle, but it hasn't worked out quite as well as it has previously here, as the teams are going to just shuffle around their karmas here just a little bit before making their way in to this game 3. Is that blub on the Gideon pick? This is exactly the type of draft you wanted to see out of this team in bad timing.
They swapped picks. That we've got JL Rita on the Moragat and Blub on Gideon. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if that's a confidence at play here, or if they think that this is a better pick for themselves.
All right, Jelly, any last words for the gamers as we are looking to see you on the other side before we make our way into game 3 of the finals?
Another pentakill. Let's get another pentakill in here. I would love to see it.
Hell yeah, gamers. All right, let's make this transition over. Game 3, ladies and gentlemen. I need to see the hype within the chat. I need to see the gamers turn it up for whoever you're repping. You guys wanted a finals? You wanted a game? You want a game 5? Well, hey, Honolulu's willing to put it on the table, and so is bad timing. They know they're on the biggest stage. They know they're being viewed. And Cordy, me and you know that they're ready to go. Now, the question is, are we, Cordy, me and you, the duo we've been rocking for a while now? The TriCast coming soon. What are you thinking on this new game, and what are you thinking on these rosters? I'm going to hit you with the hard one. Who won the draft?
Yeah, that is really tough, right? Because I do like the team comp of Honolulu. And looking at Karmas as well, double silence on Honolulu. Adele in the jungle. Conte's played some Adele, so we've seen that. So the Mortgage, again, if they can get to that late game where she does the damage, they are good. But the damage and the dive that bad timing has with the Kwong, with the steel, Muriel giving him the shields all over everywhere. It's really, really tough. But I'm gonna go with bad timing on this draft.
Every fiber of my being and body wants to say Honolulu on this draft here. Partially,
A lot of poke.
yeah, partially just because they do have, the pickup as, ooh, that Sparrow arrow is going to ring true, as we are actually going to see Sparrow only on the Sparrow for one of the, not first, but one of the more limited times this set, but it is not because of the Mortgage that I actually think Honolulu has the better draft here. Narbash has come up so big unless he has been selectively pressured and killed out in a lot of these engagements. But not only that, I want to be a big fan of this Gideon pick, and as such, I am to a degree. However, we have seen in almost every instance where it is Gideon versus... Oh, wait, an engage here coming out of the Kwong. A knockup does land as well as a pull in with the Jalita. The combo is coming off. It is going to be now the use of protections, and it will preserve his life just barely here, as it is now going to be Mortgage who's going to be forced to back. However, pivoting back to what we had said previously, it is something that we have to take into account that we have seen every single time Gideon is played into an Adele, that Adele just nullifies it to such a large degree. So taking that into account, as well as the mechanics that we notice come out of both of these teams, I feel like it's relatively even. But as far as the compositions go, I do like this one a bit better. However, on the backside, it is going to be Sparrow only with Kiwi, who may get caught out here, but an insta blink here in response to the dashes. Now Kiwi is going to be looking to make his way out. However, now Conte showing a little bit face here within the dual lane. It's going to be recovery that gets sparked as well as the shield and a disengage that is going to get called for both of these teams, as both of them pop the chill pill and make their way back to either their lanes or jungle to continue to build a CS advantage.
And I like this. I love the Kwong pick against, because the problem with we saw a little glimpse there, just locking down Mortgage, getting the sword on her, keeping her in place, dashing in and getting knockups and getting that combo. The blink is still available, so he has that available. Jay has that available, that escape if the Kwong does rotate over again. But yeah, even though you mentioned in the picks, Blub is not really known for playing casters in the mid lane, right? He's played a lot of carries. He's more of a carry main, but he's a skilled player. I have no doubt. Gideon is a really easy character to play as well. You hit your right clicks and you're good.
Yeah, and we are going to now see an engagement here in the mid. That true damage is going to come through here from Conte. It is going to be a pull and rock on to Dante here
Silence.
as well, and the silence is going to hit the pullback as well, as the first blood is going to go over to proficiency. It is going to be a chase down coming from the other side. As your leader here is going to be having to look for the
good
reset,
TP.
utilizing the blink and a teleport back after. Dude, this is going to be a wild game. However, the first blood is going to be going over to the red team in this instance, and more specifically, it's going to be making its way over to the pockets of the jungler at this instance of the game as well. Kind of pivoting over, we are going to see BT Blub also going for the back end. I also agree that Blub, you know, these, I feel comfortable in saying all of the players within this game specifically are in the top 0.1% of mechanically sound players in this game. You know, there's not a lot of players who are going to be able to play and execute with these characters and what they're capable to do at a skill threshold that these guys are going to be able to do. However, I do also think, in my opinion, it also comes down to a small degree of nature and intuitiveness. You know, we've seen him come up big on a lot of different characters. However, the Gideon ult is one that can be super impactful in these team fights, and basing strategies as well as engages around it. It's pretty common at this high of a level. Now, is this going to be an instance of, you know, we picked it up, we ran it, and we made it look good along the way? Or are we going to possibly see a couple missteps? From what we've been seeing so far in this game, the answer is no. Glub is very evidently winning the lane, utilizing not only the damage but the range advantage that he has innately on this character, and as such has been able to maintain a very high level of pressure despite Conte making some rotations in order to try to mitigate that. As with the mid lane, we are going to see the combination of not only Conte but proficiency setting up here for a potential gank on the return, as it is going to be an ult over the top, and both of these supports are going to be dropped, extenuating the low, but in return it is going to be Jay who's going to be able to pick up the kill onto the jungler of the opposing side here. Now with the rotation, it is going to be Muriel instead. It is a bad trade all of a sudden here for Conte, despite the right click giving some larger degree of sustain. Is it going to be enough, as that rock is going to drop in? The health bar is getting low, but the mana bar is going to be even lower here, utilizing now the smite in order to put themselves back into the game to a degree. Narbatch arrives along the way, and it's looking a little bit older now, as it is going to be Kiwi looking to save some space for his jungle, and as such he will escape, as Conte is not going to be able to pick up the kill on the Gideon, but is going to maintain his life and be able to collect his 3 cap on the way out.
Yeah, great play there for Blood, getting a 2-man ult. Well, but unfortunately, again, Gideon, early game ult, not going to be that amazing. It's really just trapping him in place, but small little win there for bad timing.
Definitely there. Now, hey, we got ourselves a water spirit, games, ladies and gentlemen, as it is going to be the recovery spirit, which is going to be phenomenal here for the content crew if they're going to be able to lock it up. I feel, if I was in the coaching, with putting myself in there, I cannot allow us to just forfeit this one over. We saw how dangerous just giving up those wind spirits were in the late game as that Murdoch came online, and the damage that was able to trickle, not to mention the cooldowns as well. I also think it needs to be mentioned how good water spirit is on characters like Narbash. The sustain he's already providing you, being amplified with him being able to get his mana back exponentially quicker, it cannot be misstated, as it is now going to be Narbash who is going to try to make his way to the portal, but it is not open, big boy, and he is not going to be able to survive the threshold of time necessary in order to try to portal himself out, as it is going to be a collective kill here coming out of the red team, coming out of bad timing, as they now are going to be grouping around the spirit. Contrary to what it is last game, this team immediately pivots over to show some aggression, get the pick, and now we want this water spirit on cooldown. A great pick if you're a bad timing fan, as you're going to drop this water spirit sub 2000 HP without any fight. They're going to be able to pick it up, while on the other side is going to be the content crew picking up the gardening for themselves.
Yeah, going to be trading out Unlinked Water Spirit. Probably the lesser of them, right? Yeah, they are able to secure. Just checking. I don't know.
Yeah. For a moment, I was like,
I was waiting. Hold on. But yeah, Water Spirit, not the best. It's going to give you the 3% regen, lost health, and mana. Eventually, it'll start stacking up to where it becomes a little bit of a factor. But nothing compared to water, or fire, earth, and wind.
Yeah, not nearly as immediate as some of those other buffs, right? Not nearly as immediate as some of those other buffs. Now, content. I have a question, Cordy, because a thought just occurred to me. Morgash's passive doesn't give her a percentage increase, if I remember correctly, in movement speed, right? if I recall correctly, it's a flat 8. It's a flat 8.
Yeah.
Which does that mean if she increases? Yeah, so that would mean that if she does have her stacks and it's a wind spirit game, her movement speed that has had stacks on top of it will be increased by a percentage. Just a little bit of technology to keep in mind there if we're thinking about it.
Yeah, I forgot how much she gets. I think it's 9.
It's 8 on every stack, I think.
Okay.
It's 8 on every stack, I
Right
think.
there.
So, just a little bit of a thought I had in mind as we do try to, help inform newer players who may not know all the details of the game. That is why, every time a spirit comes up, we talk about exactly what it does. That's why we try to go pretty frequently through the item evaluations as well as the karmas and compare them as well as what their effects and abilities are. And with that in mind, it might be a little bit of a brawl here over to the side as we see Gideon possibly peeking the jungle and looking to set something up as Adela's going to be looking to make a rotation over. However, spotted and aware they are there is going to be the red team here as they're going to be trying to bully this team off of the side here. Now, playing this space, it is going to be a huge ult from Blub on the top side, followed up here by still a big pull as well on the way down. It is going to get some damage across that. It's going to be mitigated by the degree of healing coming out of the Darbash, but it is not quite over yet as it is going to be proficiency looking to run down Jay here out of the mid lane, but will not be able to do so as the mitigations as well as the movement speed will be enough for Mortgage to safely recover to their tower.
And Cranky able to get those camps there on the triple and rotating back out. Good. We still have a little bit of skirmish here on the left side. Blood is here.
Yes, indeed, and that is going to be a big rock and some damage as it is now going to be him who falls, the big man, Shrek the Ogre. It's all Ogre now, as we do see now the ult is going to be procced here coming from Proficiency, relatively ballsy, but you have the shielding to help follow you up onto the side. Now getting the disengage off of it, not getting nearly the amount of damage that you're hoping for out of the exchange. It is going to just be a missed gank, but a Guardling dropped into the far reaches as in the mid lane. It is going to be the tower that seems almost certain to be taken here by the blue team in Honolulu and the Conte crew.
Yeah, and this is like just thinking about what Blub has done in these 11 minutes and 30 seconds. What he's done now than he did last game when he was playing a Mortgage. He's gotten great ults in mid. He's rotating, gotten some pulls, gotten some ults.
Wow. Wait, Cordy. I'm about to get in your stat sheet real quick. We're gonna be looking at her win rate after this. We're gonna be peeping game onto how playable the character is in the competitive level. Listen, I'm not even here to say she's the greatest. Comparatively to a Gideon,
Mortgage?
yeah. Is she my queen? Yes. Is she the greatest pick in the game? Yes. I mean, wait, no. Now gonna pivot over here to the solo. It does look like both sides have decided to get a restart. Just over a minute here on that spirit camp coming back up. We are going to have is that Gideon as well as Proficiency here. Not invading, but playing into the jungle a little bit while it is going to be Jay making the rotation here back on to the mid lane. Both teams are getting themselves to some time to farm up before the Prime Spirit spawns here in just over 40 seconds. Both of the teams playing relatively careful. However, BT getting some engages that have rewarded them greatly and being able to lock down not only a Spirit, but additional 4+ kills here over to the side. We can see the contact crew, and Honolulu is going to get melted through to some degree. And you have to ask, how much healing is enough healing? And right now it's not looking like enough. However, from the top side, we are going to see Conte get hit with the pull down here with the Gideon over the top side. It is going to be a huge ult here coming out of Honolulu with the Conte crew. Cordy, I got a question for you. Can you rub some from your eyes? Because those players got melted. I blinked and they were gone here. Over to the side, though, it may be still here. Looking to just be a little bit of a nuisance and it's looking to steal some degree of the farm. That true damage is going to come through on the whip, though. All 3 procs of it are going to be hit as Cranky now is going to be able to utilize that dash in order to freely get out. Over to the side, it is now going to be a tower that goes down in favor of the red team, while Cranky on bad timing is just stirring up a little bit of a mess here inside the jungle.
Conte was able to steal that blue buff, and Regal getting kind of poked out here. He's not his sprint mode, stunned off the mark, but Muriel gonna give him that shield from across the map. He's gonna be all right. But yeah, huge play there for Fender. Blinking in, ulting, getting a silence so they can't do anything, and Adele jumping right on top. And Jay actually getting a stack there. He was in red buff, and he was able to get a stack on the Mortgage.
Oh, baby. Mortgage Getting some stacks here as the Water Spirit is now going to be depleted to that sub 2,000 threshold. Now making a rotation over. It is going to be the combination of the jungler as well as the solo laner here. Secured for the blue team as it is now going to go over to the favor of Honolulu. Over to the side is going to be the combination of Finir as well as Jay, who are going to be getting a lot of damage off. Pushing them out of the window, playing the distance over to the side is going to be the Gideon. Now looking to be knocked out of Sprimo. In a fire, Burning Bright is going to be proc here from the carry. Utilizing the teleport, it is going to get them out for the most part. From what we can see, Jay is going to get the soul collection. However, with the assistance of
3 seconds.
with the assistance of the shields, it looks like he's just playing the space for it, and the shields are going to go up, resulting in no kill and no stacks here for the Morgesh.
Yeah, Muriel forced the ult there. Great heads up by those guys, knowing that he was looking to ult, and Muriel ready to hit him with it. So as soon as it popped up, gave him the ult there to prevent that. So great play there by Vecron, and the top support for sure in this league.
Yeah, he's so good. He's
really good.
He's so good. It's one of those things to where, you know, over the course of time, as you know, I introduced myself to this competitive scene and, you know, started associating and affiliating with these players. I heard like Vecron was good, but hearing is not seeing. And I was like, oh, this guy's playing Murdoch's. What are you? He can't be that. And then you know you witness it, and you're like, he's still bringing everything you would hope a support to bring to your team, as it is going to be a drawback that is going to be missed here for the Grux Sparrow. Also over onto the solo side now, looking to push down that tower. However, on the rotation, it is going to be the Gideon as well as this Kwong, as both teams are going to be looking to play space closer to their sides, very aware that there's some people missing on the map and some people who have also been picked up. But while this is happening, it is going to be the red team in bad timing now, looking to pick up that Paragon underneath, being dropped past that threshold of 7,000 and now 5, as it looks like the damage is going to be utilized with a combination of Zemia's and the Gideon damage from the surplus. Over to the side, and we do now have a team fight looking like it may be cooking up, as it is going to be the Adele, though, now looking for the disengage, as it's going to be the Prime Garland dropped. However, over to the far line now, it is going to be still able to get some degree of damage off utilizing the shield, but it's not quite a full team fight yet. But despite that, it looks like they're looking to make it one, utilizing not only the silence but also the ult. They are going to catch off 2 of the blue boys, and Honolulu's Contact Crew and ult here in the response, but it's a little bit too late because it is all over now with the red team getting a rundown on 2 members, including the man in green himself. Narabash and Grux are going to fall at the feet of Bad Time.
Yeah, 2 for none. I can't stress enough how much of a difference this game is with Blood playing on this Gideon. He's way more impactful on his Gideon, getting great damage, getting great pulls, great ultimates. He had his ults have only been 2+ ults.
Okay, now Conte is going to be able to get an ult off there, and it's going to selectively pull down one of the health bars. That's going to be Jay, who's going to be able to get the last bit of damage to selectively have that kill allotted into the Morgesh here. Now 3-1-0, 136. Yes, a complete witch's boots, and it looks like a Toto on the way to follow it up. More than likely here, the kill boards a little bit of ways from being even. However, the objectives more dominantly, including the Prime Guardian as well as the Guardling per se, in favor here of Bad Timing 2. Call me crazy, Cordy. Their objective play this game. Oh, yep, that I am. That is true. That is true. Their objective play this game has been insanely better than the previous one, right? It still feels like they're kind of, you know, mitigating the challenge, playing for their spaces, looking to get good ganks and picks. However, if an objective is up, they're just on it, playing the space in order to push people out of it. And then when they do look like they're going to commit on it, turning around, dropping, pushing for a team fight, and then resetting, all for the sake of creating space around these objectives. Bad timing. Playing not for the kills, but playing to win on the objectives boards this game.
Yeah, they do a really great job of that, right? They pull the objective. They know they have the map awareness that they can pull it, and if they do start to rotate, they have the communication well enough that they can, like, okay, drop now, focus this person, and we see the instant focus. So they do a really good job of pulling it and then immediately knowing when to just get off of it.
Oh no, it is going to be Kwong here, called out from the rotation. However, that's a lot of shield. The sword is down on the mirror build, which we did anticipate him making his way over to. Now, really getting himself to just getting as much damage as he can across. He is going to fall at the hands of the enemy jungler here, and Adele, as the Contact Crew are going to be looking to rally about Cranky Trash Can now playing around the space. That is going to be a big ult here onto the steal, and he does get traded to some degree. However, is it going to be enough? And the answer is going to be no, as those Muriel shields are offering you more than a second chance. They're offering you every chance in life. However, Interfire now burning bright. It's going to be Proc, as it is going to be Steel, who's going to be able to pull away with oh so very low HP. We have to take a look here for the screen. That is going to be sub 200 on the way back to core. While we do make our way back into the enemy side jungle, it is going to be a little bit of looting before it is going to be the blue team here, the Conte crew in Honolulu, making their way out. The EU boys playing deep and looking to drown the opposition in the pond and collecting themselves a water sphere for their troubles on the way out.
There's no way. Look what they're at on the map.
Oh, it looks like a prime party. They're aware. They just know, and they're going to full on commit to it. All right, you guys want the water sphere? Well, hey, I'm thinking I'm going to be taking me a prime guardian on the go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a prime party, and if Conte needs a time to come up big, this absolutely has to be the one. That is going to be an ult on the inside, and then some spatial creation utilizing the ult. Over the top, it is going to be a silence and proficiency. It's going to be able to bring it down off of the pick. Health bars are going to be rating low within the pit. We are going to see Grux here fall. No, Grux is going to be the one to collect the kill here onto Steel. Health bar still looking relatively healthy as proficiency. It's going to be looking to get a disengage, but after getting the objective, it is going to result in the towers going down, but 3 of your teammates are going to lose the prime buff, and it looks like it might be 4. Those shields are good, but how good are they in the face of damage? Regal is going to get taken down. Muriel is going to be the last man standing. The robotics, the android, the 17, the 18, the self-fusion saga in itself. You're going to have to make a hell of a play if you're looking to get a kill, but instead it is going to be a reset and a disengage here for Vecron, as the towers and the waves are all going to be pushed towards the inhibs of Honolulu.
That is tough. That is, they got the prime, they got the objective, but they lost 4 for it. That is, I love the call. It was a great call. They made the rotation, but just not quick enough, not able to burst it fast enough, not able to disengage off of it. It was a great call because they knew where they're at, but it's also a risky call because you're at, it's an even stage, right? There's no clear disadvantage. It's a balanced, even game. They kind of went for a Hail Mary there. They didn't need to. It could have just been, they got the water spirit. Let's just go back farm and we'll refight for the prime spirit, or for the prime guardian. But they were able to get it, lost 4 for it. So I feel like that was an advantage there for Honolulu, getting those kills.
As well as that, one thing to keep in fact is, if they did want to siege those inhibs afterwards, the right tower is still up. They would only have to set up a defense on 2 of these towers, not the full 3 within this instance. Now, that tower does become significantly more likely to get drawn down, yes. However, as it sits down, nobody's applying the pressure to do it. The lane will do it automatically. But you have to assume that this team in Honolulu isn't going to just give it up for free, as within the far lane, we are going to see a couple people starting to group, the combination of Kwong as well as Strongo and Muriel here, while over within the mid space, it is going to be a mark coming from Jay, as it is going to be Bad Timing Blub, who is going to have to retreat in the face of Morgesh.
Yeah, Morgesh right now with 5 kills. Jay getting that Witch's Shoe, going into that Rampaging Toto, so he's getting his skills, which is really great. He was a little bit of a struggle early game, but his team was doing a really good job of team fighting with him in the mid, diving really well with Grux and Adele, and then Narbash getting those heals, so he was able to stay alive, get a little bit of kills to kind of get him to that mid to late game stage of the game where he's going to start becoming a big threat with his late game Morgesh.
Oh man, 100%. And one thing that I would also like to kind of tap upon here is, stepping out of the casting booth for a brief second, guys. I promise we won't talk about any blue buffs. That cough for that Morgesh jab cost me my life. My throat as a whole was like, we're shutting down. like I did it, and it immediately, Cordy,
died.
I actually ghost out, and I had to grab it and put it back in. I'm like, I got a set to finish. However, in the mid, we are going to see what looks like a gank here from the combination of proficiency as well as Gideon instead playing back, and now Adele getting the hand up in order to get a chain on proficiency. Now, she predicts the sword teleport here. Conte playing the space there, but now going to get a disengage, and Narbash allowing himself a time to shine. This is where this character really really thrives. Let's get in there. Let's get a quick jab in. You took a little damage. I'm gonna hit the button. You're back in full. Do we want to try it again? Do we want to go in again? As it looks like this team here in bad timing may be going in on Kiwi. He has to be a priority target. And with the thunk miss, that is gonna be a double pull into the rock. Over the top, it is gonna be BT with the big ult here. Blub absolutely running through these health bars. But as he falls, it is gonna be the counter of the Adele ult, which will collect his life. Over into the mid side. It is gonna be down the silence. That is gonna be used here. Coming out of the side here. Cranky Trash Can with an ult. It's gonna miss all, however, it is gonna force some space to be created. A big ult going onto the Drongo is going to be utilized and do absolutely nothing in the face of the support, in the face of the shielding that is to be coming from your Regal. Now have to play his distance very, 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 very carefully, as it is going to be BT having a little bit of a good time on the retreat, as it is Honolulu looking to show them a bad time themselves. However, it's not going to be the call to retreat, as it's going to Prime Spirit up in 2 seconds. If they're going to get this, it will increase their passive regen by 9% every 5 seconds. And I know we said it before, so I'm gonna say it now. On the Narb, that's a Narb bad time. And it looks like that is gonna be the result, as this team in Honolulu is gonna be able to lock down yet another objective.
Yeah, three spirits. Next one's gonna be Scylla. So when it comes to this late game fight, you have the choice: either you're getting Scylla to get a boost of 4 buffs, or you try to go for the Guardian. So we could see if a team is not really confident, or if there's anybody that might be down and they pull the spear, we might see the reverse of pulling the other objective. But we'll definitely be seeing some fights around these objectives for sure.
Now,
on Guardian in 30 seconds.
3 spirits up, and 11 kills to the 7. So a little bit of a kill advantage, a small one, as well as a small now advantage on the objective boards. Not counting the Guardlings that have been taken on the side of BT. I want to ask you, man, who has to be the edge player in these next big team fights that break out for Honolulu if they're going to be looking to extend their lead to 2-1 in this set?
For Honolulu?
For Honolulu.
I'm looking at the Morgish, right? She's there. We got Wichichu, we got the Rampaging Toto, we got the Kima Alkima cannon blaster. Like, she's there. She's got that damage online. So if she can go in and be that mage assassin, really poke somebody melee range and try to blow somebody up. Like right now, Blood stashes down. They might actually go for this.
Yeah, buddy, and this is now going to be engaged. That right click doing insane damage. And ult is going to come up, but it is going to miss all, as it is going to be Cranky, who goes up and on his way down is just going to have a bunch of damage waiting there for him. The silence is going to come out of Drongo. However, you can't shut up auto attacks. The healing here coming out of the Kiwi on this Narbash pick is going to be huge. This team is just going to be able to keep running into fights if that is what they want to do. However, it is now going to be Conte, who is once again going to predict out that that sword teleport is going to be going down, fully committing, and it is going to be a stack. The damage absolutely coming up massive for the EU team, as it is going to be the Conte crew who is going to be able to lock down 2 key members of the opposing team. Morgash here playing the space because her objective damage isn't that much. And speaking of objectives, you know that you have to bring the drinks if you're coming through to a prime party, as we are going to see the combination of Conte as well as Darbash and Spare within the pit, getting rid of any damage relegations. But a rotation over is going to be Kwong. That is going to be a right click doing a decent amount of damage, but not nearly as much as you would anticipate within this instance. However, in this instance, the blink of an eye, it is Honolulu who has turned the tide after their loss in game 1, and they are closing in on a game 3 victory. Cordy, golden whistle. Let's call it the CC question. What are you, your live, your coaching, your courtside telling BT to do right now?
He's got to hit these abilities. We need a really good steal dunk. We need Kwong to go in and getting CCs. Gideon getting really great combos with the right click and getting up there and ulting multiple targets. The target now at this stage, we gotta get to that back line. We gotta somehow try to kill Morgish if she's running in, if she's close enough. Put all your attention on her, get her out of the fight, and then Sparrow only. These got to be some key targets, and with the abilities that still has, he can get to that backline pretty easily.
Yes, indeed, and I did miss the part in your synopsis and the CC question, of course, where you said that you're telling them to pick Mortgage next time. I did miss.
or a ban. I don't know.
Yeah.
Apparently, Honolulu has the answer for Morgesh. Both
She does.
games, game 1 and 2.
She does.
She was struggling really hard mid, and looks like Jay knows how to play the Morgesh really well. But they have an answer, so they might see a ban. BT might ban if it goes to if they do lose this one. They might ban the Morgesh.
Yeah, buddy, and we are now going to see both teams look to play a little bit of the space here, as it is going to be a blink in here for... Wait, a knock-up is going to come up huge, as well as the silence. That is going to be an ult over the top. That spell shield will absorb an ability. It's not going to be a protection. That is going to be huge. However, it is still going to be Jay who is going to be able to collect the kill. They're on to BT Blood under the beginning, and the region comes in big, as well as the combination damage. That is going to be an ult, followed up by the right click, as it is also going to be Proficiency, who is going to be brought down. A triple kill going in favor here of the team from the EU. Is that a quadra kill here for the Witch Queen? Everyone's down. Is this what we are thinking it may be after losing game 1? It is going to be Honolulu who claims game 2 and 3, pushing us to set point.
Yeah, they just did a really good job of keeping. BT had really great plays early on. They had it was like a slight early game. They had the advantage. They were winning. That play at the Prime Guardian, again, I like the play. They didn't need to make that play because it was still even at that point. They didn't need to make that play. Losing 4, the momentum kind of swung a little bit, and then Jay just kind of going off with Morgesh. 10, 1, and 4. Great team play by those guys. 27K. I think we might see the Morgesh ban against Jay.
We can't let Jay have it. Is that the take?
That might be the take. They have an answer for beats for bad timing playing Morgesh. Game 1, not as great. Game 2, definitely the worst showing of Morgesh, just the hero. How I think we might see them banning out.
Guys, Jelly.
Ooh.
Jelly. What do we see there?
Dude, that was a wild game. I think really what kind of did them in was the bad positioning there at the end of Blub and Cranky Trash Can, right? The two of them getting caught out by all 5 members coming on top of them and being able to take those out means the game is just going to end right then and there. But even before that, I saw Cranky miss a couple steal ults and just complete whiffs that didn't hit connect with anybody. That definitely hurt them in those team fights. But realistically, I want to just say that Honolulu played better. Like, they just were on top of it through and through the entire game and just did an incredible job.
100%, man. 100%. Cordy, dude, we got at least one more to go. But this is the time. This is where champions are made. Overpowered FTM T-On Invitational. Guys, we might have a 5-game set on our hands. We asked earlier, what happens when giants collide? What happens when the Titans both make it to the mountaintop? Well, here is the moment we catch answers. Game 1, bad timing. Game 2 and 3, Honolulu. They're 1 game away from taking it all.
And one thing I want to touch on too, actually real quick, I apologize.
Oh no, go ahead.
No anti-heal. Once again, right? We've got a Narbash. We did not see the anti-heal come in to stop him just being able to keep his team topped up the whole time, especially with water spirits. Why don't you have anti-heal? Like, this is something that's we broken record about at this tournament. You got to take that into account, especially with water spirits, where Narbash and those are just healing so much in these fights.
All right, guys, we're going to be right back here with you as we're going to be making our way here into game 4. Game 4. Don't go anywhere. You guys are at the heart. You guys are at the center. You guys are where the heat is at its hottest of Paragon, the Overprime competitive. We're going to be right back here with you. As always, stay overpowered.
It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity.
Gamers, gamers, gamers. FTM purveyors, overpowered players, members of the Cordy crew. This could be it, and I need to know, do you like what you're seeing? You guys want a competition? We're here to bring it to you. I need the crowd to get loud, because this could be the conclusion of the T-On Invitational. Cordy, Jelly, in case they're new, in case they don't like watching the season, but the finale, let the people know who you are in case they don't.
What's up, guys? Cordy here. I stream a lot on Paragon 4 days a week, Thursday through Sunday. Put a lot of YouTube content out. And we're going to be having a podcast soon.
Hell yeah, JellyKnees, let the people know who already should.
Yeah, I'm JellyKnees. I'm the host of the For the Minions podcast, which has been around for about 6 years, covering Paragon and all the Paragon successors. And now I'm excited to be here with you guys talking about this finals match and going into potentially the final match of the T-On Invitational. Super excited for one of these teams to close it out.
Guys, it's been crazy. It's been a long road. Okay, I don't want to get DDoS. I don't want to get any too close. In that game, we saw Honolulu just start mowing through. Earlier on, we did see some really big goals here coming out of the combination of Gideon as well as the pressure that was being established by Kwong. However, the picks we were rooting for, like, to be frank, they lost. The picks we were rooting for lost within there. We talked about it previously, and we both, expressed, our different opinions on the draft, very, very slight degrees. But we saw exactly what I was concerned about there at the back end. Gideon, Adele, me too. High five, Get down here. just get on the ground. The moment they fell into a bad team fight off the rip, considering you're already utilizing your mobility in order to get up to that point. And as we see here within this game now, it is going to be an immediate ban that is going to come down onto this Mortgage. Do you think, Cordy, that it was Mortgage that was an impact player there, as well as you, Jelly? Or was it more of the overall team composition that just surrounded them?
It was both. For me, it was both.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both as well. I think what we saw part of it too is that Adele pick be really valuable. That she's just able to soak up so much damage as a tank that it really became a great pick for Honolulu last game.
Yeah, man, and it cannot be attributed to solely that, but it's for me. I cannot fathom that Adele is allowed to continuously make it into some of these games. It's every time she's here, she is dominant. Every time she is present, she is able to get through so much damage while also taking so much in herself. And that being backed up by some seriously adequate damage on the back of her CC, it just blows the game open in so many instances. I'll be honest here, I would be shocked not to see an Adele lock in here.
Oh, and Ardell and a Wraith. So
Mm.
curious if this is gonna be Blub on Wraith and mid. I think he had a really great showing on Gideon. He had really good. He had great damage. He had really good ults. Um, so it's interesting to see if it's gonna be a support Wraith or Vecron, or we're gonna see a mid Wraith.
Ah.
We have a very important pick that's still up here for Conte in Sevarog. It wasn't banned this time around. It hasn't been picked yet. Adele got taken away from him, but he was just as effective, if not more effective, on Sev. There's definitely an option for him to pick that up here too.
Whoa, what's going on here?
Is that a Narbash and a Gideon?
That's a Narbash and a Muriel.
Yeah, wait.
What?
Muriel offlane? Is that actually the pick?
That it could be.
I am so confused. Is that on the BT roster? Is that a...
All right, sure. I mean, Honolulu has a game up right now that they can play
Yeah.
these kind of loosey-goosey strats and see how it goes for themselves. So I'll be very curious. Bellic is going to get locked in. Oh, looks like that was probably an accident.
All right, guys, so we are going to have to go to a brief, real quick break here. We're going to be right back with you guys as we try to get this stuff remedied over on the back end. Thank you very much. All right, gamers, we are back. We are back. Sorry, as you can tell, we had a couple technical issues. So it is same picks, same bands here for the teams as they're going to be locking in the exact same comps here. It seems that we just had a technical issue on one of the rosters here, which caused the lobby to crash. It is going to be the exact same. Ow! I bit my tongue, Jelly. No. How do I not do that more often?
Well, while we're waiting for them to repick, what do we think about solo Muriel?
I can't.
That's gotta be it, right?
It's gotta be what it is.
Like, I don't see it mid. I don't see it jungle. I don't see duo support.
And I do know, and I am aware that, you know, some of the players were like, "Oh, they must have misclicked." No, guys, this was an intentional pick. They want the Muriel. They want the Narbash. This was an overall just crash due to some system failures on the back end. So with that in mind, we are just repicking the same ones and having jungle here now locked in. Last pick on the back end. And we are... I told you, he cooks with the Seraph, but you don't see it often.
Ooh.
This
Spicy.
is a bold draft. Like, it's just...
It is. Now, so
It's
in
like
that moment...
It's like a
doing
confident
Muriel
draft, right?
carry?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, Huh?
We
Well, Sparrow
sticking
only,
Sparrow?
unless Sparrow
It
only
has to
goes
be.
into solo, but
It has to be Muriel. It has to be Muriel solo. By the way, this is nuts. This is...
right. They have a game to throw away, right?
Yeah. If
Actually-
they wanted to, they have a game to throw away.
All right,
Spicy.
Jelly, see you on the other side, brother, as we are going to be looking
Absolutely.
to hop in to the game 4 here of the T-On Invitational. You know we got to talk about it. You know it's coming up. Finir with the solo
Spice.
Muriel pick?
The spice.
With it all on the line, Honolulu won a game up, and they just need one more to bring it in. Dude, I'm at a loss of words. I'm bamboozled into the face here of a Grux on the enemy team of bad timing. Having got utilized that first pick to give Cranky a more comfortable pick here on this Grux play. Also, one thing I would like to point out, double silence, as well as an Adele jungle here now coming out of proficiency.
Yeah. Double silence is gonna be huge. No silence at all on the side of Honolulu. But the Muriel pick, Muriel's, what do we always say? Muriel mid to late game is nuts with her shields. What better role to get to late game quicker than solo lane?
That's true, man. I'm just contemplating, how do you trade into a Grux here on this pick? I'm not trying to have you be the man and give me all the answers of the universe and whatnot, but how...
Muriel is stunned for damage. It's gonna be, if Grux has to put a lot of pressure here to keep this keep Muriel at bay as best as he can.
Oh, 100%, as we are going to have the casting booth do a little bit of sorting here over to the mid. We are going to see some mild damage trades, nothing to put anybody necessarily at risk, but while we do have a second look at the itemization, it is just going to be the Jewel of Vitality to give it a little bit of additional mana regen, and I definitely do think that this is more of a let's just survive till late game and have the double support composition, by contrary to let's get active on this character, as it is going to be a silence into pain as well, a reset, as it looks like Conti is going to survive here. The run around and the knock up from the other side is now going to result in a kill at this iteration, as now it's going to be the mid laner here from the blue team for Honolulu, who are going to be pushed back. The team fight is going to be great, right? The team fight scaling to late game is going to be great. However, I'm going to put you in the coaching chair here for a second. What do you do to get your team there? Kind of becomes the question.
Well, the other four don't really have to do much. It's really just the solo lane, right? It's up to Finner to get his farm as well as he can against a Grux who can outclear really quickly, who can stun you and do a lot of damage really quickly. So it's up to him to try to get that clear. You don't want to spend a lot of time ganking over and over and over on this solo lane. So it's him getting to the late game probably won't be as difficult, but when they do get to that stage, having the top two supports on your team, Narbash has been really picked up a lot. Muriel's been picked up a lot. Narbash giving you so many heals. Muriel giving you so many shields and health as well with her way her shields work. It's Yeah, it's a spicy pick, but I like it. I'm here for it, man.
Dude, this is some Radis Maximus level energy. It feels like we're getting here within this game. For as over into the solo lane, it is going to be an engage over to the side with a pull-in. The combination of CC is going to be enough here for them to lock down the kill onto that Muriel now, adding 2 into the kill department for bad timing, as proficiency is going to be showing face within that solo lane. And Muriel is normally a character, I guess, within the support role that's playing from behind, as we are going to see an engagement over here. On to now, Conte looking to utilize that immunity. However, the damage is not going to be there, and he will be able to survive, as it's going to be 3 members who are going to be looking to get out within this instance. This is a team composition, with Sparrow, that you're like, okay, I'm aware that scales very well. With Gideon, okay, I know that scales pretty well. But Seraph in the late game, I'm not too sure as to where she sits.
Yeah, Seraph is really tricky, right? I see a lot of Seraphs, going. They don't have any kind of CC on their kit. They're mainly just go in, pop your ults, and try to do as much damage as you can. And then you have really good escapes with the double leap and the immunity if you could time it correctly. So it is tricky. We don't really see Seraph a lot in the competitive play. I really feel like I haven't seen it at all in like league tournament matches. So I'm curious how he's going to build and how he's going to play these team fights. If he's going to go the traditional where everyone goes like just straight damage Seraph, or he goes the traditional warrior route where you have one damage item and you kind of just go into other tanky hybrid items.
Yeah, I am expecting the hybrid of it all, right? Because this has to feel like, hey guys, we're trying to end it here. Sparrow in the game. That's what it feels like it needs to be, as it is now going to be Belica pushing the Seraph, as well as getting out of lane here with the assistance here coming from proficiency to push up and kind of now just maintain that lane pressure that they can. But this most definitely, to me, speaks, guys, we are trying to end the game, this game. This is it. We're done. This is the last game before we are taking home the 1,000, before we're taking home the Kima prize, before we are the T-On champions. We need Sparrow to come up big, because out of everyone on this team, the damage is going to primarily coming over from that side, as it is going to be BT Blub here, who's going to catch a combination ult and emote. We're going to call that one the UE here from the opposing team in Honolulu. And, we've talked about it before, and, we've addressed the very limited degrees. These teams have gone against each other before.
Oh yeah. There's built-in bad blood, right?
Oh, there is bad blood for sure.
Pre-lobby BMing. It's a competitive spirit. It's all good. It's a competitive spirit.
100%, man. That's what we want to address here. It is all within the spirit of the competitive nature. Sadly, there was an error within the technology last time within the draft, and it just kept us from getting to the good stuff, any earlier. And one thing that I would like to kind of take into consideration here is, naturally, as Gideon is going to be getting assailed upon, the combination of damage here coming from both Belica as well as he lived.
Wow.
The pain doesn't kill him. 68 HP is going to be Jalita here within game 4, making their way out, staying alive. Now, pivoting over, dude. Oh my, I was ready to pop off about the kill. They stole that not only from BT, but also from me. But going back to a previous point, this is a character who is already naturally playing a couple levels behind, as we are now going to see a jumping here within the mid lane. The utilization of that ult is going to get some pretty good damage through, all things considered. Conte utilizing now that immunity into the Adele to completely neutralize large facet of the damage from her ult before getting the wing clap to put Adele down within this incident. Is going to be a rotationer coming from the Narbash, as it is going to be a wind spirit up, but as well as that, it is now going to be a grouping mid here from the combination of Brooks as well as Belica. But Belica is low deck to no mana at this stint. Now going to be able to melt through this health bar on the wind spirit, dropping it below that 3,000 threshold, while it is going to be a wraith waiting in the wings, more than likely not going to be going to contest here, as they're going to instead get a reset and forfeit that first spirit.
Ooh. Wind spirit's gonna be really nice, man.
On
Cooldown,
Sparrow?
attack speed.
Ooh.
The cooldown, just again, everybody loves cooldown.
Everyone.
Want to use more abilities.
And here we are going to see, once again, it is going to be a stun into a recovery, into a shield here, just to straggle along here. And I've never seen this kind of play implemented. We've seen a lot of interesting stuff in our time casting, man. The 1-2-1 combination, the 2-1-2 where you start somebody out in the solo lane along with your solo laner, or you just send the dual lane over there and send your solo lane over into the dual lane in order to immediately take that tower out of teams like Korean Mafia. The double support just survive. Just make it to the late game. It's a pretty unique take on it. I mean, if it wins, this is the type of place where you can see metas defined. Seeing the top players in the world coming across from different regions and teams and seeing this implemented, I have to, because we thought it was a joke. We thought this must be a misclick. However, no, this is all within expectation apparently for this team.
Yeah, and again, it's a solo lane, so you're not gonna have a little action here on the left side.
Yeah, as it is going to be an ult here out of the side. Now Sparrow only looking to just get some damage across. You have Sparrow is living the life here. Absolutely.
Yeah, heals and shield. Gideon getting shields as well while he's in the air. But the only real counter to this, it's got to be that difference in the solo lane. Grux has to just keep applying pressure like he is. There's a level lead advantage on that lane, a little bit of CS lead as well, but that advantage has to be more. I feel if Muriel's slightly behind, it's still going to be better than Muriel support being behind. You're still going to be up, so they need to somehow come up with a solution to make Muriel just life miserable in that lane.
Yeah, man, you cannot allow this character to be any less than 2 levels behind, pushing it to the 3. We see them trying to do that there, applying that pressure as now it is going to be a Muriel ult from across the map in order to save the carry. The combination of the heals as well as shields are going to just be a little bit too much, as it is now going to be Sparrow who's going to be able to survive the ticks of damage here coming from the Drago Silence. And is going to be running into the embrace of the dual support right in action. This is exactly what they want. Keep them alive. And Jay now playing the space is going to get the snatch and the kill here onto Wraith. Now building the kill lead to 4-2. Going in favor of Honolulu from across the pond. It's going to be the Conte crew coming up big.
Yeah, that's what we're going to see. Muriel making impacts pretty easily from the solo lane. It reminds me of like, back in Smite, there was a small little patch of meta where Athena solo was the hotness because she could, stay in that solo lane and be able to rotate easily. And Conte getting a kill on Cranky in that solo lane. But do you remember that patch ever in like competitive where Athena was a good solo laner?
Yes, I do.
Because of the global ult?
As an Achilles main, yes, I do. And yeah, this definitely does feel like that. Any support that you can provide is better than none is their response to the surplus of damage that is going to be coming out of this team here in BT. However, considering to some of their rosters have had previously, they do have some of the true damage that is going to be coming alongside this Bellica. They do have good poke. However, this is a Wraith's worst nightmare. Vecron into the late game, if it does make it to that point, is going to be rendered almost completely mute. He is not going to be able to get much, if anything, done to this team. You want to get some snipes, they're going to heal from it. You want to get an engage for your team, well, they're just going to be able to put in some shields, even if you do get the reposition. Sparrow only has to be the win con, as we are now going to see a rewind does get dropped. However, from the side, it is now going to be the Gideon who's going to be able to get a pull in, and without utilizing the rocket, is going to be able to threaten Vecron over onto the middle now. Jalero with the combination of Sparrow is going to be able to lock himself down. A double kill here within the sub minutes of the game. Now over into the middle lane, though, it is going to be Contact showing a little bit of face onto this Bellica. Now opting out to retreat and reset instead. It is going to be the Prime Spirit up within 30 seconds. Those picks not quite in time to be able to lock themselves down at objectives, but in time to just give the Sparrow a lead over the enemy team here, as we are going to be able to take a moment and see it is going to be a plus 20 roughly in favor of Sparrow only, who has completed a Merchant's Jewelries box as well as Regal.
Yeah, it looks like we have the Spirit coming up in 8 seconds. Gideon is going to be actually forced back, or back stopped. Muriel ulting. He's still alive.
Jalirta does survive it, and then the double heal, however, now in the mid lane is going to be Conte looking to get engaged here. However, he is surrounded by the enemies on each team. It is going to be some pain and some degrees of burn, as it is going to be now the burn damage that is going to be able to secure the cross. The Rosefield does get dropped, however, the disposition of everyone else does make the damage relatively mute. Now playing the damage over to the side is going to be the combination of Conte as well as the rest of the team of the Conte crew, and Honolulu having no worries as they collect themselves a double. There's so much sustain, and I can see. I can see why they would hold this for a game-ending match, for a series finale, for the last event, for the last game, because if you can find the answer to what do you do in the face of this much sustain, you can maybe stop it. However, on the fly, what is the answer? And that question is what is separating BT from pushing it to a game 5 or possibly losing this set right here.
Not to mention the the double recoveries from both of our supports, Narbash and Muriel, getting a double recovery. Narbash with the heals, Muriel with the shields. Like Gideon was low health fleeing. He came back into the fight, and like a second later was full health. This is gonna be a really tough. We definitely need to see anti-heal on the side of bad timing. We have the Nightmare build on Vecron. We do need anti-heal from Bellica. We need anti-heal from the jungle, from the solo. We do need anti-heal all around to stop these recoveries, stop the Narbash. You can't really deal much with shields. Shields, unfortunately right now, is just not countered in this game at the moment.
Yeah, and the problem with it is that, like, okay, you built it so you mitigate your build in order to get through some degree of the healing, but that healing is not going to be able to be mitigated all that much when they are still going to be, first, negative and positive, gaining HP because you're still working on chewing through the shields. Muriel here, 0, 1, and 3 in level 9. That is a level up on the support in Vecron on the other team, as Blub is going to catch some damage. Now off the rotation over to the other side, it is going to be Grux here with the dash out, coming out of Cranky. They are going to be diving in onto the other side and pull in here. It is now going to be one who falls, and that is going to be Grux within this instance, as they are going to be looking to play the space over. Now Jalirta knocked up. It is going to be locked down here for a kill, but this team still has so much HP to have to chew through. It is going to be a dropping of the ult just because you know you're on the way out. What can I do? Maybe I can push a little damage, maybe I can push a little pressure, maybe I can make some impact, but Narbash is on the back line beating to the drum, dancing to the rhythm of his own tune, as Honolulu is going to be able to make that a 2-for-1 trade, but also take the tower on the rotation out.
Man, this is the I'm a loss for words, man. It's crazy to see the team comp, I feel it's got to be like they've cooked this up before.
It has to be. This has to be a game ender.
It's not like, you know what? I feel like playing Muriel here. You guys want me to play Muriel? It feels like it was something that was cooked up before. Taking, the top 2 supports have been definitely prevalent in this game, in this tournament. Taking away from the hands. We haven't seen a lot of Decker. I'm surprised we didn't see Decker over the Wraith. I think Decker would have been maybe more impactful with the good ults and the long range stuns, but yeah, definitely something that I feel like has been talked about before on this team, not just a last minute. Let me get a Muriel here.
100%, man. And I mean, on the flash, how do you answer it? You noticed that one of them was taken higher. That was the Muriel, which led them to believe probably, oh, we're probably safe from this. As well as that, we also did see the Wraith get locked in along with the higher echelon. And knowing that this team in BT is so prevalent to bring that poke damage into the lane, seeing them lock in Muriel immediately, you're like, okay, well, we don't need to worry about them getting Narbash in to counter it. But then they lock it in anyways? Question mark. This feels like it was cooked up specifically for BT. This was cooked up. You guys have been known to play very good poke compositions, to just bully down, to poke down. We've seen it in the Murdoch. We've seen it with the Sparrow. We've seen it time and time again with the Wraith. However, what's your answer for this? double support, we're not looking to win immediately. We're just looking to survive. As we now see, Jay is going to be set up here onto the side with an ult that he has
Great
cooked up.
ultimate.
And then it's going to be Bluff that is also going to be caught as a control. Is also going to be able to pull down Regal. And now it has to be Proficiency looking to play back from the space as the damage is coming up relatively large, but not large enough because they are having to fight through the combination of healing and shield. Sparrow is seconds away from being full HP. It will cost Conte his life on this engagement, but hey, a 1-4 trade and a 15-4 damage differential. I mean, Cordy, what's the recipe? What is the spice? What's the tact? What's the strategy? What do BT do to counter this last minute wild play coming out of the gamers?
It's gonna be tough, man, because they need items. They need anti-heal, of course. Most people need anti-heal. So the backliners need damage to try to deal with Muriel shields. Muriel shields are so good. There's nothing to counter it, so they just need items. It's just tough that, you know, these early team fights are definitely going in the favor of the two supports because of the sustain that they can do, and then getting these objectives. It's definitely snowballing out of control and getting 3 potential win spirits here, more cooldowns. The only way they can really come back here is just misplays by Honolulu, which are very far in between, and items. They need items, man.
Yeah, buddy, and as we going to see a team fight here break out over to the side, it is going to be the popping of at least the Muriel here. Conte now without the shields and without the range in order to be able to follow up. Is this going to be in their favor? It is going to be Interfire burning right here now, propped off of the Sparrow as they are going to be getting aggressed upon over to the side. They're going to be looking to play the space out. However, Adele is not looking to give them so set space as Proficiency is going to hit the arrow in. The Pain property is going to be able to get themselves a kill over to the side. BT Blood now making the rotation over. The combination of Drongo as well as Belka on the rundown. But despite that, is it going to be enough? While over the top ropes onto the side, it's going to be Jalita looking to try to get himself a double kill, but it is only going to be a single one because Proficiency will survive it. Now leading into a positive damage trade for the NA team for bad timing, putting themselves back in the game.
Yeah, that was good. That's huge for them. They were making some kills, and this Conti was a little bit out of position there, fighting I think it's 3v1. Muriel trying to help out, but Muriel dying too quickly before she can get her ult off online. So those two going down pretty quickly, allowing them to win that 4v3, 5v3 fight and getting kills, able to get the objective. So it's, if they can continue, you know, trying to find the misplays that, like I said, Honolulu, if they can find those misplays and capitalize on them to slowly get them back into this game and get those items online. But we gotta see it. We definitely need to see anti-heal. We have Sage's what built Blood. We got the Witch's Shoe, Rampaging, Gloves of Jealousy. I really would have liked to see Sage's Whip there. But we have Cranky's going into anti-heal as well. So we're getting some anti-heal items on the board, which is great. But we're just going to need a few more items in general just to deal with this double support meta.
Yeah, man. Game. It's not even like they're all support, no damage here, because we saw their Sparrow, despite falling, did a chunk amount of damage there in combination with the Gideon ult to set up, being able to keep the enemy team contained and keep your damage bursting and high brutality. There's some peel that is built into the same. You have the Thunk, you have the Muriel stun, you have the Gideon pullback. However, outside of that, your jungler is not going to be bringing you any CC by combination to where bad timings is.
Oh my. I just noticed. Look at Conti's third item.
Oh no. Boys.
More healing and more shields.
All health and shields increased by 40%. This has to be the strat, guys. It's time to go big onto the supports, as it is now going to be Proficiency, who's going to be looking to possibly get an engage here. However, caught out. That is a lot of teammates, and his shield is just melted here. Within seconds, playing the space over to the top, it is going to be Conte, who's going to be playing over to the front side. While on the back, it is going to be almost completely full health bars, while Cranky is on his last leg as the Rhino gets sent to the place where the dinos go. And this is now going to be a jot in here from Jay over onto the mid, while Kiwi looks to play the space. Now, Finir pushing a little bit up here for this team before now getting a retreat back, and look at how full the health bars are over their core. It has to be a regrouping and a reset. You can't allow this team to easily get any big objectives without a large fight. However, in order for those fights to be good, it does feel like the formula for bad timing here needs to be getting a pick first. And with Conte down, it does give them a little bit of breathing room for the time being.
Yeah, and Conte in these last two team fights, he's not getting the love which is understandable, right? You want to get your backliners the love, the shields and the heals. Muriel's trying to give him some long range shields, but he is the solo diver for this team. Since we have the Muriel, so he's going to be stealing back. So it's solo dive Conte or solo dive Sarah, and the backline getting, you know, the two supports on them. So we got to see a little bit more prioritizing on Conte. He's going in solo, dying a little bit too quickly. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting how these games continue to play. I think the later the game goes, having a Drongo, the uranium rounds, so much damage. Having Adele being super tanky and the ultimate doing a lot of damage. We have a collapse here.
Oh no, Cranky is caught out over onto the side, and with the enemy team being able to make it before him, this spells all but the end here, as it is now going to be 4 members now taking out the primary tank for this team. And one thing to take into account here is just the overall just presence that Muriel can have. You can send her to make plays like that. Okay, I need you to go to the other side of the map. TP, come back. We need you back here, and we need you back now. Now, having expedited over utilizing the purple TB, it is now going to be this team who's going to be able to start bursting down the Prime Guardian. Now at that 5,000 threshold, proficiency is within the space, but that's a lot of CC over to that team. Over to the side, it is going to be Sparrow only who gets bursted down by Blub. That is going to be the primary damage for this team. Drongo, however, in a fight for his life, going against here the Conte as the Prime Guardian does reset itself. It is now going to be a reset over to this team. The use of the ult is going to come up big. However, hearing the proc of the getting ult, he is going to miss. However, get a repositioning here back onto the team fight. Currently looking like a 2-2. However, within this instance, the supports are still up for the most part, and it is going to be Proficiency who is going to be able to take down the Gideon, as it is also going to be Cranky who's going to be able to burn through the health bar of Conte on the back end, and they are now turning to do the Prime Guardian. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a Prime party, and everybody was invited. However, Honolulu is looking like some lightweights. Send them home, call them a cab, call them an Uber, because it is going to be bad timing. Who is going to be taking this one?
Blob doing a really good flank and taking Sparrow only out of the team fight early on. But whoa, I thought he was going to die.
Oh man, me too. Me too.
But they're able to secure the buff. Can they do anything with this?
Guys, it's time to whip out the name. That was a Black Air Force Blub play. Hands down, being able to just 1v and selectively get the target down within that pre-fight, that pre-grouping before making the rotation onto the back end and being able to drop some more, and now allowing your team to have a significant